YouTube vids claim conspiracies thrive, but the stars don't lie, they dance and jive. Experiment repeatable, tested, done. Flat claims flatline under the scientific sun. Flight paths don't loop for a pancake map. Pilots laugh at the claims, leave them in the gap. Gyroscopes hum truths, keep the planes aligned, while flerfs play jigsaw with a miss in mind. Flight paths don't look for a pancake map. Pilots laugh at the claims, leave them in the gap. Gyroscopes hum truths, keep the planes aligned, while flerfs play jigsaw with a miss in mind.
Spinning truth round the axis, that's a factual ride. Flerfs fumbling hard, trying to run and hide. We got that gravity pulling, you just drifting through. Science slaps empirical, stick to the glue. Round pound, sharper minds, we probe for the real. History stacked tall, experiments that seal. Curious minds, globe-trot evidence rolls deep. While flerfs count shadows, we night sky sweep. Eratosthenes flex with them shadow lines. Measured Earth's curve, no conspiracy signs. Dropping mics like Newton when his apple fell. Maths the beat, y'all theory stale like a cell. Foucault's pendulum swinging to expose. Rotation so true, no flerf can oppose. Telescopes beaming, Copernican frames. Centuries stacking, flerfs out of their games. Round pound, sharper minds, we probe for the real. History stacked tall, experiments that seal. Curious minds, globe-trot evidence rolls deep. While flerfs count shadows, we night sky sweep. Launching satellites, proof in the pics. Flerfs screaming tricks, we dropping data bricks. Physics and logic on a level supreme. It's a curved reality, splitting flerf dreams. Launching satellites, proof in the pics. Flerfs screaming tricks, we dropping data bricks. Physics and logic on a level supreme. It's a curved reality, splitting flerf dreams.
Hey people, how's it going? Welcome into Curious UK Debunks, where the derpy derp just doesn't stop when we make fun and try to prove it wrong. So how's everybody going in there? Nice to see you in there. Calder V, nice to see you. Canadian Space Advocate, always nice to see you again. How did that rocket launch go? Did it happen? I know it got scuttled yesterday, the other day, because well, fire kind of tends to stop those things, now doesn't it? No, we'll postpone until tomorrow at the earliest. Oh dear me. And they didn't happen to get that rocket from the British Army, did they? Because I seem to remember years ago that the Canadian Navy bought a submarine from the British Navy, and on the way across the Atlantic, the thing lit on fire and sunk further, and they had to get rescued. So I don't know, just a question. Another fire, crap. I don't know what's going. Well, I don't know what the heck they're doing. You know, you need to send this to Mikey and let him know how they're spending all his money. Oh, burn! I think those are the subs FTFP was an engineer on. Oh, shots fired. No, honestly, do you think the Canadian Navy can afford nuclear submarines? Dude, they were diesel. They were from World War II. West Edmonton Mall had 2 more subs more than the freaking Canadian Navy. And they got rid of those too. It was a private company, is it? Oh, right. Where am I? All right. Hey, David. How's it going, buddy? Right. Oh, let's get crack-lacking here. Just shooting the shit. Yeah, you know what? I kind of realized I didn't actually have the thing up to say when I was going live tonight. So probably not a lot of people knew. So hopefully people start dropping in and stuff like that, and I get some views on this. I just just forgot. You know, pretty much just yeah. I was on the computer doing the astro. I was up late last night doing some astrophotography, getting some Saturn shots. There's a there's this competition on Facebook to win a telescope for first prize, or you get a Barlow or SV Boney, a nice little eyepiece for shots of Saturn, because Saturn's in opposition right now. So I was up last night, and then I had the idea from my front yard to try to get the M31 Andromeda Galaxy. And can I freaking find that with probably big problem is that I live kind of in the city, and a lot of I'm more like I'm on the outskirts kind of the city, but still a lot of light pollution, and I could not see it. So I'm gonna have to probably pack all my gear up and jump in the car a night here. It's just nice next few nights here, and head out to somewhere darker skies. I know I've been wrecking a few spots, so which I can see. If if I can find somewhere where it's a little darker. Had hopes to go on holiday this year in August, but because of the funeral and stuff like that, we had to put that on the back burner. We'll be heading somewhere kind of out to like called the Lake District, which is kind of really nice. Obviously it's got loads of lakes and hills, and it's quite nice. I don't know, quite rural. Also, it should be close to the coast, so I might get some good shots across the Irish Sea, as well as if it gets really dark nights, like last time I was at a caravan park. Then hopefully I can go out somewhere really, really easy. I can just walk off somewhere. Hopefully I can take the telescope with me, because last time I wasn't able to pack it, and maybe get some good shots. Was able to get some good shots with my S24 Ultra using the astronomy mode, and got some nice of the Milky Way galaxy. But yeah. Alright, D-Raid's working and lurking. Heck, always good. All right, you know, enjoy. Right. So where we're at here. One thing I didn't address is my last live stream we did on Sunday. I had kind of addressed some of the stuff that the sovereign unchained mind, or unchanged mind, whatever, sovereign soul that Solve was saying about the Charlie Kirk thing. There's a few things I brought up in there that I had said that I've come to realize lately, that looking at this week and looking at somebody had sent me like a video the night, like nighttime here, what the day that he was assassinated. It sent me an uncensored video of him being shot and going down, and then something had come up, some new information that I need to kind of correct, and it had to do with the trajectory. I got it wrong. I was talking about, because they said something about it going and maybe ricocheting and not going, no exit wound. That was actually I've learned now that was actually wrong. And looking at for my evidence and looking through a little bit, I realized that it seems like it wasn't shot wasn't from front, kind of like that. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. But like instead of like coming from like up and above, like from like that. But now evidence looks like it was from on this side, coming down from behind him, and they reckon that the projectile went in this way, and what you see here is the exit wound. And what it is there's a fella who does a lot of sniper training and stuff, and he actually had kind of broke it down, and that looks like it might be something that I just wanted to kind of play this and just kind of correct what I said, because I kind of got a few things wrong, and if I can find some evidence, and if I think I'm wrong, then I want to make sure that kind of admit, okay, I got something wrong, and try to correct the information. So and then we're going to get into some Flat Earth Derp. So I just wanted to kind of correct this. Peace Advocate. Funny story about the subs. My brother-in-law said he took a couple of shots with a potato gun. His boat is a fishing boat. Was leaving, and the sub was coming in with guys all lined up on the deck. Oh yeah. And he said so he got his potato gun and took a few shots at them in a way. Hey Jeff C, how's it going, buddy? Oh, hold on, let me just turn on the sound here. I think the sound turned on. I honestly I want to believe the fact that FBI and some information you put out. And they had a press conference today. It looks like you can even see it on here, on my screen. It looks like it's still live. I don't know, so they may be correcting it. They're only going by what they had seen, but maybe they've forensics information stuff and then new information coming out. They may have corrected it, and because obviously it's ongoing investigation still. The one thing is, I do know this for a fact. I had done a diploma in law, police enforcement, police sciences and law enforcement years and years ago. But I was involved in something where I was involved as in I witnessed a stabbing in a mall in Edmonton. If you're from Canada or Alberta, you know it used to be called the murder capital of Canada, or called Edmonton. And they used to have a lot of violence there. And I was in West Edmonton Mall, big group of my friends. We had traveled up there for the weekend, go to the water park, and just hang around West Edmonton Mall. And we witnessed it was a gang hit or something. And guy was hit. Something slashed his throat. One of my friends who was first aid trained, we actually helped. He was administered first aid, held while we phoned the police. And then there's a bunch of people around. We actually formed a barrier to keep people away because people are going to start crowding in. We're stopping, making sure people stayed away, as well as there's still some people making sure no other violence happened. The next day, we're heading back, and we got to a stop-off point, stop for some fuel, stretch the legs, and the papers that were listed on there on the front page talked about the incident, but some of the information they had was wrong. And when I asked a friend of mine who's his girlfriend at the time, so his living girlfriend, was a city police officer, he informed me that sometimes what happens, the police will release slightly wrong information. And why they do that is if somebody comes in and wants to confess, and the information they give is information from the papers, they know that the person's talking shit and that they want to confess for other reasons, but they know that they weren't involved in this. Sometimes people do silly things or try to cover for somebody, so they will release sometimes misinformation, slightly different details, so that way if somebody comes in and wants to confess and they give the information that the police know is for factually true because they've done an investigation and it's not from the papers, then they know this person most likely is legit. Or if someone wants to give information, let's say someone wants to know something happened, maybe somebody confessed to them and they want to give information, then they know that information is legit and not just somebody who's read something from a paper looking for a little bit of clout. So that may be kind of part of what the FBI is doing, because there may be something to do along that lines, or they may be wrong. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that, just from stuff I had learned from years ago. Oh, CSA, is it Winnipeg now? Winnipeg is the murder capital. Oh, forgive me. I think Winnipeg was always a bit shifty anyways, so. Hold on. We have no sound. I don't know. Do I have any sound? Check on my stream. Check here. Come on here. Not from the video. All right. Yeah. I just clicked onto that. I thought I'd check my stream. Right. Okay. Why is that happening? Hold on here. Go back a bit. I'm just going to see if I can sort this out. Why are you doing that? I should have checked all this stuff. I thought this was all working. I don't think it's that. Is it? Right. Let's just try it again. Still no sound, eh? Damn. What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Hmm. I got that working, so why? Yeah, let's try this again. Yeah, I still know. I'm I'm monitoring on my phone right now. CSA. So no, okay. I think we're having Zoo Crew audio issues there, Calder. I don't normally this works fine for me. Hold on here. Okay, is that actually working there? It's showing up on here fine. So why is it not coming through my stream? Right. Okay. You know, what? OBS had an update just before I came on stream, and I'm wondering if there's something's not working right. Hold on here. Let me see. Oh, Lindsay, did Mikey take that down? Good question. I'm actually was on Mikey's thing. I'll have to have a quick look and see. I'm on Mikey's channel. I was gonna check something out. We'll have a little look at that. No, it's right there. He still has it up, Lindsay. So why do we have no audio on this? Gonna sneeze. All right. Went away. All right. Where am I? Let's try this. Okay.
Acquired proof that the FBI's official story is false, whether knowingly or unknowingly. We're going to have an entire monologue and talk about a lot of these things after I show you this, but if you take nothing else away from this video, you need to see this.
Yay! All right.
And in that video, you can see the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself.
We're not counting gang violence. Great.
So this video was created by a friend of mine who is a Marine. You'll see him here at the end. This is the angle he is showing the shot coming from, showing where Charlie was sitting, and the angle of the shot, which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show.
I also want to just clarify the fact is that I had said that he was wearing armor, body armor. Not like it would have mattered because the shot obviously was covered by body armor. But it appears like maybe he had took it off at one point because you could see he was wearing it when he was throwing those hats and everything else. But maybe he took it off because it was really hot and he's never had an issue. You know, one of those complacent things. Like I said, not like it would have mattered anyways because it's not, it wouldn't have covered, protected the area in which he ended up having a fatal shot anyways. But I just wanted to just kind of clarify that as well. All right, so let's have a look at this.
Here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, a split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter coming out of the entry wound immediately after a shot. The first arc is kind of down.
So everybody thinks that this here was the entry wound, but now you're looking at that, you can see a projectile, something come down. You can also see something come up from here, like splatter going out the back as something's gone in, something's going out the back of it, and then like half second later it comes out here. Why it didn't go, obviously, so nothing hit back here. Now, if you had that kind of angle, I reckon that maybe they could find this projectile would be in the ground, because obviously there's an area in front of him that's like keeps the people away. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify this here. So have a look.
Down as if it's just gushing out from the entry wound, and then the second shot corresponds with when his head kind of snaps forward. That fluid then flips up in relation to that motion, so you can see there's that second splatter flipping up into the air.
Honestly, I think this, if you look at this now, and if you look at all the movement and stuff and how he explains it, it kind of does make a lot more sense. And as well as you can see something coming from that side. And I confirmed this with my own video that wasn't edited, stuff like that. That was only like, it was like on the same night before all the editing, all the conspiracy theory stuff. And I've seen this, and I could confirm it in my own video that I had of this.
This is something that I hadn't seen to this date. I saw this for the first time late in the evening yesterday, and I decided that this needed to be put out immediately because no one that I know of is talking about this. So big shout out to my friend who actually found this and created this video.
I will agree. This I've seen Range Day Bro. This YouTube channel is the only one I've seen. I've seen somebody else covering this video. I've seen somebody else trying to do where he tried to do a sniper shot thinking he's wearing a chest plate, and it hit the top of the plate and then ricocheted up. But now looking at this, and you can see something come in, and then the way he moved and stuff kind of actually makes more sense, because if something had hit him and like he would have moved back, like he would have gone from the impact to something hitting, it would have actually sent him back a different way. This is seen lurch forward, like if something's got from behind and hit him forward, and then the way he Somebody also I see another one. Somebody said because of the way his right arm comes up, it actually would and maybe in this video it actually would be conducive to somebody who's they're kind of convulsing, they're kind of seizing up, and the way the arm come up, it'd be from like something from the back of the head coming in. So
you'll see him here in just a moment, but let's just one more time look at this shot. You see,
Calder, only thing is I was just trying to correct something I'd said wrong on my Sunday stream. That's all it was. I just wanted to show something, evidence come up. I had made a claim saying that I come in and maybe ricocheted inside his body, and I just wanted to clarify and just simply correct something I got wrong. I want to try to have some sort of honesty that if I got something wrong and I find evidence that refutes what I've that I've said or something, then I want to be at least and I've made a claim, I want to turn around and correct that, at least if I can. So if you just want to bear with me just for a few moments, then we'll move on, if that's all right. Okay.
bullet comes in that circled area. You have the blood splatter go down, then up, and then immediately after, you see the exit right here with the skin being pierced, and then the exit wound emerges. And again, that is not a far distance for a bullet to travel, whatever the caliber is, whether it be 5.56, 308, 30-06. It's not even a debate at this point. It doesn't matter what caliber killed him. What matters is that the official narrative is not true. Again, whether the FBI knows or not that they're lying, but this is 100% conclusive evidence that Charlie Kirk was shot in the back of the head, and it exited through the front of his throat. All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right, now including this little blood.
And the one thing I did want to point out, and I noticed that this has been a conspiracy theory thing for a lot, and I'm pointing out this dot here. If you watch this when he hits it like that, I think, now this is, I'm only surmising, I think this may be like a little lapel mic on here, because when he hits, this actually comes across and flies off. It takes off. Now, some people, conspiracy, are thinking that this may be something to do with a blood pack or something like that. But you can see this come off his shirt and comes across and goes off. And I think when he gets hit, it kind of flies off. And I think it's just like and that's why his shirt's sitting weird. I think it's like one of the little lapel mics for maybe if he's got a live stream or he's recording it or something like that. So I just wanted to just point that out. This is something that's been pointed out a lot, thinking that that something hit him there. It didn't hit them there. That's just something that's on his shirt.
Splatter that we can see here against the white backdrop, the extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound, the extreme loss of blood. No matter what the caliber is, that distance, that amount of meat is not enough for most bullets to expand. I mean, 99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance. Most of them require 12 to 14 to 16 inches even sometimes of tissue to expand properly. Also, Charlie tensing up correlates and proves that he was hit in his spine. It's a spinal injury. Any of the game that I've shot in the neck or in the high vitals where you impact the spine, the game usually drops right in its tracks because you sever the spinal cord. This is again exactly what we see with Charlie. He tenses up. His head movement also correlates with being shot in the back of the head. His head snaps forward, and then he tenses up, and you see him fade away, drop the mic, and was absolutely traumatizing video footage. And I'm sorry to have to show you guys this again, but this needs to be seen and talked about because this is going to be suppressed in the algorithm. So make sure you share this with any of your friends, your family members. Save this video, whatever you need to do. So this video was actually provided to the channel by a friend of mine who is a Marine, and I forgot to show you the end of the video here. So this is my friend who actually made the video. I want to just give him a shout out. I will link his socials down in the description below. Again, he is the one who brought this to my attention. This is his video. He created this. He did the drawings on it, and he sent it to me to allow me to use it to show you guys what we're talking about. So he says, I have been shot many times, 3 times to be exact, and I know exit and entry wounds. I have extensive firearms training inside the Marines and the civilian world as well. It appears that Charlie was shot in the back right side of his head and the bullet exited through his neck. The moment I saw the video and he tensed up, I thought, that looks like a headshot given the fact that he seized up. It is a very common occurrence with a headshot. So this dude, of all people, would know what an entry and exit wound looks like on his own body, literally up close in 4K HD, as they say. So
I also like the fact is that he's all through the video, you can see that the evidence is actually kind of, it fits a lot better. And I think there was some questions there, but then you can actually break it down and see frame by frame. And I said I have confirmed this myself. And then you can see that coming from that side, which obviously wouldn't be from where they said that the fella on top of the roof was, which then obviously leads me to believe and wonder who that guy is. Now there's been several people there. There was an old guy that like on that day that claimed he had done it, and then he found that he didn't. So we'll find out if this kid, this person they have, is a culprit, or if he's involved in some way. There could be the fact there's several people. Maybe he's putting this and getting all the heat on him for reasons. We don't know why, and maybe he's trying to take it all so that the actual perpetrator can get away. Who knows, right? So maybe it was the one that he was talking to. Maybe it was his partner, whose love interest. Maybe they're the one that did it, and so he's feeling like he needs to protect them. Who knows?
If anyone is qualified to talk about it, it is this dude. He is a super cool guy, so please go ahead and check him out. And I really appreciate him sending me this over, because until he sent this to me, I just hadn't seen anything like it. Now, I wanted to be sure, and I wanted to make sure that wasn't like doctored footage. So I went to one of the original videos that I saw posted the day of Charlie's assassination. And right here I have it paused where you can see that splash that I'm talking about from the entry wound. And you can see it slowed down. This guy in this video is actually talking about the F in this on his shirt and the ring, some other stuff that really has nothing to do with it. People are arguing about body armor. You could see Charlie's his nipples through his shirt, his chest, his breasts through his shirt, but you can see that he has no body armor on right here. Okay, this would all be one slick piece of plate. It's already been established there's no body armor, so this is actual proof right here. He slowed this video down perfect. You see the blood right here dripping out of his head from the entry wound, and the bullet is coming from here down through here. Okay, hit play, and there it goes. So again, I wanted to confirm the footage I had seen originally was not, in fact, doctored in any way. So you can see it here as well, a little piece down there, and it actually goes up.
That's the same footage I have, by the way. I have it saved in my phone. It was sent to me. A friend of mine had actually messaged me just like on the live stream, and then and then I had looked at after off live stream, because obviously I was kind of seeing that one. Oh, all right. And didn't realize the implications that it would have. So, but yeah, like it was like something he had got right, like just as it had happened in the States.
Up a little bit off frame here.
Remember the time difference? I'm in the UK, so it's like noon there. It's like it's nighttime here.
From my screen recording, so you can see clearly entry, exit. Then of course, the part we can't show here on YouTube. So irrefutable evidence that he was shot in the back of the head. Clear as day to me. Now that may be a hard pill for a lot of you to swallow, and without doubt, the non-player characters who just buy into the narrative, as well as the thousands and hundreds of thousands of bots, will likely attack me in this video because I'm showing the truth. I'm going to ask for you guys to share this video so that this word gets out, so that more people can see the truth of what happened to Charlie Kirk. I want to take a look at this photo next. This guy's talking about this bush up here in the top left of this photo, and he zooms in on it, and he's stating that it does look suspicious. It does look suspicious. It looks like there is a person right here, and it looks like there is a rifle right here that the person is holding. A hand here, support hand, sort of very
pretty pixelated, hard to say really. I'm gonna say it's a bit speculative. It kind of looks kind of weird, like for like a bush, but unless you got more clear, something a bit more, a better clear image of the area, maybe from, if anybody wants to take the time to look and see the area and see if there's just a bush there that just happens to have something in the area or something. But yeah, I don't know if that's hard to say on that. But I mean, it does look kind of weird, but then it's so pixelated you can't see what it is.
Very blurry image, but you can clearly make out that this is not just a bush. This is a human skin tone right here, and this correlates with a human head and hair and a rifle in the exact kind of crucifix shape of an AR-15 with an optic on it mounted.
I'll leave that up to other people what you think, but yeah, I'm not gonna say that he could be just speculating there or not.
So. Up. So good on this dude for finding this photo and looking for, like he said, hours of going through photos and videos until he saw this, this would 100% line up with the actual shot that we've now proven was not taken from the front, was taken from the back side of Charlie. This would line up exactly with that bullet trajectory and the entry and exit wound that we exhibited, that we saw here on camera. So guys, this is a very heavy topic. I do not want to believe that this is possible, that the FBI either knowingly or unknowingly missed this. And I'll leave that up for you guys to speculate on. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. All I know is that 100% Charlie was not shot from the front. It is very clear that he was shot from the side, most likely by this bush up here. This man.
I mean, I will give him this, that where that is, you can see how it is, and it's kind of shadowed a bit, and there's a lot of people that you think people here and stuff would see somebody standing up there, but you know, because it's not very far away. Maybe if you're standing behind it, but there's a bush, you're standing behind it. I don't know. But I mean, it looks like an area that you could do something like that from. But yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not. You could be reaching on that one there. I'm not gonna say what, you know. I said it was too pixelated to actually give a definitive answer what that was.
In the bush, whatever you want to call him, it has been very clear to me that there has been a lot of NPCs, a lot of people going after me and others who are trying to seek out the truth. And it's so important to not let them silence your voice. For Charlie, for this country, really, for the Constitution, for everything that we stand for freedom, it is imperative that we continue to ask questions and seek the truth when we're so clearly being lied to. So I really appreciate all the support that you guys.
I mean, it could be lied to, or it could just they got misinformation. I don't know. I said to start throwing the allegations of there being a complete unopened deception is I think it's too early. Now, looking at that, there does seem to be fairly clear evidence that that he was hit from a different angle, a different place, and it kind of does. It looks, you know, if you look at the way he moved, where it come, blah blah blah. You look at it all. That kind of does seem to fit a lot more to how I think the forensic evidence would show. Now the question is, will they find, because obviously there was an exit wound. It would be in front of Charlie, so behind. Maybe they're looking behind and looking in the wrong place. I think there was some pavement in there, but there's also some grassy area. Is it embedded down? Could they find maybe something, metal detector, find it embedded in the ground? Or a mark in the, you know, or it could be in the asphalt or in the pavement, you know, if it's a high enough caliber and hard enough, it may have embedded in. So hard to say, but we'll have to see, look further. As I said, there wasn't a live update today. Maybe it still says, I think it still says live now. So maybe something that people can check out later and see what comes out. See if they just say, okay, we've got new evidence has come up, because apparently the FBI is looking at stuff like this video that people have looked, the people have found stuff, and they are actually looking into it. So that leads me to believe that there are things that have questions, that they're not saying they have all the answers. They still have questions. They're still trying to work things out. And the case is still ongoing. So, I just wanted to get this out. Like I said, said the Calder V and stuff like that, everybody here. I felt like I just gave some wrong information. I had a different breakdown. I said something was wrong on Sunday, and I just wanted to clear it up, especially in the light of the evidence. Follow the evidence, and this is where, and it looks like that I may have said something that was incorrect. So I wanted to just address that, and I appreciate anybody just kind of bearing with me of that. Just I want to try to, you know, be as honest as I can. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to admit it. I'm not like a flat earther. I'm not going to just make up random stuff and pretend like I have all the answers still. All right. Now, something a bit more lighter. Get on to something here, and we're going to check out a bit of Mikey Smith. Mikey Smith giving some health advice, right? And it's kind of, I'm going to say, there's some stuff. What you're seeing kind of is it's got a little bit of maybe some validity to it, but he still seems to manage to get this stuff wrong, and what he's giving, it could actually be dangerous. So something else I want to address. I really think Mikey needs to not give this kind of advice, or he needs to, I don't know, do some fucking research what he's doing, because there's a couple things he gets wrong in here that could actually cause a lot of problems for people, and so hopefully I could other people can see my what I've, if I put something out, and they can and I may even clip this and make this a separate video just to get it out. Okay, but here we are. So Mikey, a little side note, call it colon cleansing. So yeah, Mikey cleaning out his ass, but
All right, guys, we're doing a little side note video today. I do some colon cleansing once in a while, and we're going to show you what goes on here. The mixture.
now I do think, depending on your diet and stuff like that, I think there is not a lot of evidence saying that this is obviously a necessary thing. If you have a lot of issues or like dietary stuff, then perhaps, but yeah, it's a bit fringe if it's something actually needed, but I'll leave it up to you.
Here that I make, I do the normal Epsom salts. It does say, let's see here.
I get it. Canadian Species Advocate. Yeah, I don't like doing medical stuff. There are more qualified people than me. Yes, and there are definitely more qualified people than me. But if there's something I can kind of point out using facts, evidence, or like qualified like sources that could give advice, and maybe just kind of counter stuff like this, what Mikey's doing, where he is giving some advice that could actually cause harm, then I do think it's something that needs to be countered, because this stuff here, Flat Earth is kind of fun and can laugh like that. People can kind of go, most people that have at least 2 or 3 brain cells rubbed together are going to the call on the Flat Earth is a load of shite. Most almost everybody knows that Mikey's, like, except for the Flat Earthers who are dumb, are going to know Mikey's observations are stupid and shit and bullcrap. Although sometimes kind of pretty, definitely not accurate. But stuff like this, and he has done this before, with giving medical advice to people, like he's done a live stream and stuff like that, and I've addressed it because, honestly, I don't know a lot like that. I know bits and bobs, different medical things and like herbal stuff like that, because I do try to go for more of the natural remedies than going to the doctor. I will go to the doctor by all means, but I do try to take my vitamins, minerals, nutrients, try to eat fairly healthy, and I do try to, if I can kind of search something myself, like take extra vitamins if I get a cold or if I'm feeling under the weather. If it gets worse, I know it's not working, then I'm off to the doctor to get looked at. So I'm not one of those, but I do try to see if I can help myself before going and putting strain on NHS when it already is strained as it is. So.
Says here, do not take internally for external use only. Yeah, but whatever. Those are only silly guidelines, right?
No, actually. Now this is where we're going to start getting to here. So we're going to go into. There is a reason why that is on there. So, quick thing here. I know this is AI, but it is kind of fact checked and stuff like that. And that's what I kind of knew as soon as you said that. That doesn't seem quite right. Okay, Epsom salt crystals are labeled with not for oral use. Warning, because ingesting them can lead to severe side effects, including severe diarrhea, dehydration, nausea, stomach pains, confusion, irregular heartbeat, and in extreme cases, hypermagnesia. I could say this earlier. Magnesemia, which is magnesium poisoning, where you just got too much magnesium in your bloodstream, which can lead to heart issues or coma. While it has laxative effects, and it's a lot. It is not a safe recommended way to take magnesium for most people. The active compound magnesium sulfate can become toxic when consumed in large quantities. Keep that in mind, in large quantities. So, why isn't it safe to take orally? Strong laxative effect. The magnesium sulfate in Epsom salts draws water into the intestines, creating a potent laxative effect that can cause severe diarrhea, cramping, bloating, and discomfort. This is probably not the best way of doing this anyways. I would think there's a much better ways of if we need to cleanse stuff out, like maybe just drinking lots of water and eating healthier, like maybe just lots of fiber. Dehydration risk, significant fluid loss can serve loss from severe diarrhea can lead to dehydration. Yes, I know. Yeah, okay. Digesting Epsom salts is fucking stupid. Yeah, I was just. Hey there, Dano. How's it going, buddy? So magnesium overload. Now, yes, this is where you can get really, really dangerous. That's why his praise says that. Ingesting too much Epsom salts can cause high levels of magnesium in the blood, leading to serious symptoms like muscle weakness, confusion, dizziness, slurred speech, which kind of explains why Mikey talks the way he does, and even serious complications like cardiac arrest. Lack of proven benefits. There is insufficient scientific evidence to support the idea that orally taking Epsom salts is safe or beneficial for the health. External use only. This is obviously soaking. You can soak in your bath, but even then, it says it's not 100% proven. Okay. So yeah, it's probably there's a reason that's on there, and it's probably because it's not the best idea to be taking. So I would not recommend doing this at all. As well as even if it does work, it doesn't sound very pleasant. I mean, it's like it has really extreme diuretic effects on there, like a lot of bloating, pain, like extreme diarrhea. So probably not. Even if it was okay, it's probably not the. I wouldn't want to do it unless you talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor, and say if you want to try something like this.
As usual, so we're gonna open up the bag.
As Canadian Space Advocate says, warrior prune juice, a warrior's drink. Yeah, like I see, you have prune juice. There's make citrate is used to clean you out before a colonoscopy. Oh, there you go. Marcus Leach is like make citrate is used to clean you out before a colonoscopy. Yeah, well, that'll do it. Colon cleanse. Eat some prunes. Yeah. Like I said, just have up your fruit and veg intake more, and that can sometimes help clean you out as well. Or just get up and move. You'd be surprised with just a bit of movement and a little bit of exercise. It gets things moving pretty quick for you. Do some stomach vacuums, like suck your stomach in. So that yeah.
And I would highly recommend, so yeah, this tastes absolutely disgusting because of all the salt. So we're going to do 2, 4, and like 6 tablespoons of, yes, Epsom salts.
6 tablespoons. Now this is the next thing. This is where he starts going wrong. Now remember what I said in my last one there? I showed that it said taking what is this? Taking too much? It's not safe. It can become toxic if consumed in large quantities. Well, here's the thing. For adults and children 12 and up, take 2 to 4 teaspoons of Epsom salts dissolved in 8 ounces of water for constipation, with doses divided or taken as one, but never exceed the daily limit. Now, Mikey said he took 6 tablespoons. Now, each tablespoon is 2 teaspoons. He just took 12 teaspoons in that drink. He said 12 teaspoons. He's doubled the maximum amount that is tentatively recommended if you want to take this. Like I said, it does say not for internal use. I wouldn't really, and even at this, I did do a bit of research and said you can, but there are risks. And that's probably why they put this on here. But Mikey Smith has doubled the maximum amount, which is 2 to 6 teaspoons. He's just put in 6 tablespoons. Mikey, so that is running the risk there. Oh, Lindsay Bowe said 3 teaspoons to tablespoon. Okay, well, I could be wrong. I thought it was 2, but okay, if he's Well, then Lindsay, if he's just put in 6 tablespoons, and and it said the maximum of 6 teaspoons. So then he's going he's 3 times over the limit in this drink of his. Now, I think it did say 8 ounces. At 8-ounce water, and he may be having a bit more than. Don't what are you doing to me? Sorry, what happened there? So he's put way too much in there.
And then we're gonna we got the boiled.
Yeah, as a Canadian Spews Advocate says, amazing Mikey is still ticking. Yeah, he does amazing. I mean, you do wonder. Maybe he's tougher than you think, eh?
Water here. We're going to drink it, obviously, when it's not too hot, just like normal tea or coffee.
I don't think you need hot water to dissolve salt. I'm pretty sure salt will dissolve in lukewarm or room temperature to cold water. I don't think it needs to be hot, but maybe it's personal preference for Mikey.
I like to leave some extra room to put some cool water in there so I can drink it right away. And so we got tea bags. We got to get.
As Daniel said, look, Mikey's the kind of dumbass that probably thought bleach was a good idea for the COVID. Yeah, probably took, is it Clorox? Some people doing that. Mikey is probably also the one that did the Tide Pod challenge too. Mikey apparently has diabetes. He's playing with fire, doing these stuff like this. I have Crohn's disease, and I have a ton of colonoscopies. There are over the counter approaches that he can take. Yeah, there is. Yeah, for sure. You can get like a whole box has got a whole bunch in it. Yeah. Epsom salts aren't that soluble in cold water. Oh, that's typical for many sulfates. All right, Marcus Leach. Okay, I was wrong then. So maybe the warm water was to help it dissolve better. Okay. I have that little bit of salt in a drink when I got like a mouth ulcer, especially when I was a kid. I always just used cold water and just kept stirring it to eventually, maybe that's why it took a while to stir. So, all right, you live, you learn. Thanks there, Marcus.
Get rid of that yucky taste. And obviously some sweetener, because like I said, the aftertaste is absolutely disgusting. So we'll put
you put tea in there. It's putting a bunch of
bags of this junk in here.
They're really cheap,
and obviously
sweeteners. Now, this I don't get. Okay, you just put in a bunch of coffee sweetener in there, right? The stuff, because he's got diabetes. I thought, okay, we never noticed. Hold on, wait a minute. Why does he have honey?
Isn't this exciting, guys? And so yeah, we'll get the tea bags going here, and I would highly recommend not going anywhere throughout the day after you drink this, because you will be on the toilet many times throughout the day.
Well, yeah, especially if you took 3 times too fucking much, Mikey Smith. Holy shit. I'm like, holy fuck. Yeah, no doubt. You probably freaking crap through a freaking eye of a needle with that. Holy shit.
So yeah, we'll get these tea bags going and lots of honey. And I would recommend getting like a big jug of water to drink after you drink every time from this, if you can down it in one.
Well, yeah, because you need to freaking rehydrate, because you're going to end up freaking dehydrating yourself because of the amount of salt that you've just put into your body. Like, holy crap.
One time, go ahead, but I would recommend trying to drink it within at least 10 minutes. And every time you'll take a swig or a drink from this, you will need to have water beside you, because, like I said, the aftertaste is absolutely gross.
No, the aftertaste is just the fact that you're running the risk of severe dehydration. That's partly why he's freaking still ticking. He hasn't gone like caused himself to have a freaking heart attack with this. And as somebody pointed out, with him having uncontrolled diabetes, he's just insulin dependent. He doesn't take any of that. This put an extra strain on his other organs as well, as I don't think his blood sugars would be very good.
And
With all the honey crullers and tea.
I'm getting used to this taste, but like I said, I put lots of honey and sweetener and tea and just whatever.
Yeah, if you do activism with this, yeah, it's a different kind of activism you're getting with this. So
you can put in here to get rid of the yuckiness, and within the hour you'll be on the toilet, and probably 10 times after that. So there's my wonderful.
I don't think this is the type of colon cleanse he thinks he's doing. I know he thinks that he's cleansed his toilet, his colon, because he's like probably freaking like peeing when he sits down to take a number 2. But I don't think this is why. He's obviously thinks all he's done is just severely dehydrated himself, pulled all the water to his freaking to his intestines, and then from his body, and then just flushed it straight out his arsehole. This isn't really a colon cleanse. It's more like dehydrate the fuck out of yourself. Put a little strain on your organs, like your liver, your heart, your his pancreas is already shot anyways. Your kidneys, definitely kidneys are going to be taking a hit on this one. And your brain and stuff like that. So this is pretty contributing to why Mikey Smith is a flat earther. Doing shit like this, he is probably freaking like dehydrated his brain, and half its brain not functioning anymore.
So-called wonderful drink, and we'll drink that down as we go here. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
So about the honey thing, I wanted to bring that up. I think I just kind of talked through it, didn't I? So yeah, the honey thing. Now, I did question, because I was like, I know honey is literally like a natural sugar. So it says honey is not necessarily bad for diabetics, but it should be consumed in moderation as it raises blood sugar levels. Remember, Mikey is uncontrolled diabetes, right? He's fully admitted he doesn't take his insulin. He should do. While honey is a lower glycemic index than table sugar, it still has a form of sugar and must be counted as your overall carbohydrate intake. Choosing pure honey over products with added sweeteners is also recommended, and consulting a doctor or dietitian to help you determine how much honey is appropriate for your individual health needs. So which Mikey doesn't do. So raises blood sugar. Honey contains glucose and fructose, which can cause your blood sugar levels to rise. NHS considers honey to be a free sugar, along with other added sugars, which should be consumed sparingly. No health food. While raw honey has some antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties, you would need to consume it in a very large amount to get any significant nutritional benefits, which is not recommended because it's still sugar. So yeah, I did think to myself, should he actually be having honey in his drink there? But a normal diabetic who's got really good control of their blood sugars, then you'd probably be all right. Mikey Smith, no, I don't think, it's not recommended, I would think. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of address that real quick. And I thought it was kind of funny. Mikey literally did a video of how to dehydrate the crap out of yourself, and then end up running back and forth to the loo all day long while you pee, while you sit down out of your arsehole. I repeat, I do not recommend doing this. This could end up being very bad. Do not do what Mikey does. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that's good. I know everybody in my chat is going to be smart enough. I'm thinking anybody who happens to come across my live stream from restream and watch it, don't do this, okay? This is bad. Especially when you've had freaking that, 2 to 3 times as much as what's even recommended. So, and you're in poor health like Mr. Mikey Smith. Okay. Now, I thought we would, I haven't checked out King Nico in a long, long time. If I have time, I might check out, Mark Sargent. Unless there's consensus in the chat that people want to check out Mark Sargent over King Nico. But I haven't checked out King Nico in a while. I don't know what, I've noticed a lot of the flerfs are doing this Charlie Kirk things. They're checking a lot of conspiracy theorists are jumping all over that. Is like the trending thing. So it's another reason why I have been kind of covering it a bit, because I've noticed it a lot on a lot of conspiracy theorists, flat earthers, stuff like that. So I think it's something that needs to kind of be countered and make sure the proper information is out there. Canadian Species Advocates, like there's all kinds of says there's all kinds of wacky health stuff on YouTube and TikTok. Yes, especially TikTok. TikTok is rampant with that stuff because it's kind of not really monitored when it comes to health stuff. And you get, obviously it's really easy to make videos on there, so people just put all sorts of shit. So yeah. I don't know, maybe something to look into a little bit and debunk some of the health stuff, because it could actually put people in health risks and danger, as well as sometimes people could think they're doing something good and they're doing absolutely nothing at all, or slowly doing damage to themselves. So yeah. Yeah, a lot of the flat earthers, they claim that they're being censored. They're not being censored. Flat Earth isn't being censored. There's a lot of flat Earth stuff. I don't know if anybody here in the chat here watched the debate between Professor Phil Bell and Dick Wayne. That was on MC Toon's channel. Entertaining, like Dick Wayne being Dick Wayne, just kind of nod everything, but. Yeah, I think the whole thing, I was going with that. I was going with that. But yeah, it was interesting to watch, and the way Dick Wayne was. We all did, yeah. All right. I had to watch it on restream because it was like 2:00 in the morning. We put that up, and it'd be like a 4-hour stream. So I think I was not doing that. That's the only thing I do miss, all the streams. Like I miss a lot of Drunk Debunk Show, and I miss a lot of Monty Talks because of the just the time difference. And then I ended up missing FTFE because he kind of conforms to the American stuff, and he'll do stuff dead late. So even though he's in my time zone, I still miss his stuff. So. Right, so I was just looking here to see if were you there, Jay Gill? Oh yeah. Professor Philip Bell, he was so patient with Dick Wayne. Like he was so good. Like, and that's definitely a fellow who's been teaching for a long time, that's just learned this patience with a really difficult student. Is there anything on here? See anything I think that might be interesting? But yeah, a lot of flerfs are covering all that stuff. Let's see here. I don't know if there's actually anything here that's really worth covering. Did anybody actually watch this shit? Oh yeah, somebody said that he was on vacation, wasn't he? Right. Let's check out Strange World for a bit. I'm not sure how we'll get through this whole thing, but it'd be interesting. I've skipped all the beginning shit that he does, so.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery says movies are coming true. Mutants and aliens are among us. We have the proof when we see a man's bone, when we see a man's neck stop a bullet. Well,
actually, this is why I'm kind of been covering this stuff a little bit here. Just kind of stop that, because even like the the die-hard flat earther Mark Sargent is even bringing this shit up. Didn't stuff a bullet. I just showed that. And it's just simply the fact of the evidence is just still coming out. So
stock up on the kryptonite. That's what these guys say. Actually, it's more of a Wolverine thing, but we're going to get to that. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Mark. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and yes, Carolina, if it is not September 23rd, 2025, then you are listening to a rerun. Don't forget the show can be found on BitChute and Brighteon, Rockfin, and Rumble. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is just the beginning. Quote of the day goes exactly like this little thing. You ready? Little thing right here. You will discover the truth in time. Where did I get this? Where you will discover the truth in time? An actual fortune cookie. There you go.
Whoa.
Chinese.
yeah, unfortunately, Mark Sargent, if you discover the truth, you probably just go nah and run away, because he's fully admitted he's never given up the flat Earth. He's going to die a flat earther,
Restaurant wisdom.
despite the evidence.
You will discover the truth in time. And I've also got to thank DJ before I announce him that here we are, another week, another Wonka bar down.
And
No ticket.
oh my god.
I am down to the last bar.
Whoa.
The last bar, which I will be opening up in a couple days, because it takes me 4 days to eat one of these things, because I don't want OD on chocolate. And so yeah.
How have you been enjoying it? Is it good?
Because Mark's mommy said he can only have one a week.
Oh, it's delicious. This is some of the best chocolate I've ever had in my life. It's absolutely wonderful. And it was purchased by DJ as a gift for me from, was it the Chocolatier? Was that what it was?
The Chocolate Soldier in Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach, California. Yep. Very, very good stuff. So I'm still waiting. We will see how that goes. Michael.
Oh, wicked pissa. So Mikey knows he's full of shit. This will help him make room for more. And yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working. The stews are feeling more and more. Well, I have chat on screen.
Co-host, well, obviously, the always delightful DJ Curious right next to me. Hey, DJ.
What did you say, Jim Daniels? Well, I have missing chat on screen. Was the chat I think the chat's working. Don't tell me it's doing this thing again where it just decides to stop working. No, it seems to be working. I can see it. You understand? Okay, speech advocate. Yeah, it must be nice for some countries where everything is in one time zone, so you can keep an eye on stuff on the other side of your country at the same time. The only thing is, Canadian speech advocate, I live in a country that would fit inside one province and still have room all the way around. So it's, yeah, you can see that, but I mean, and everything, we have like high freaking like population density, like really high population density. So I mean, to get anywhere, like I still sometimes have to get my head around it. Like I'll look and go, oh yeah, that's it's only 20 miles, not realizing, yeah, it's 20 miles. It's going to take me an hour to travel that far because of all the traffic and then the windy roads. It's not like in Canada where you get on, man, you jump on the road, bam, you can go down, you can go 70 miles in an hour, no problem, easy peasy, you know, or faster. You know, you jump on the Trans-Canada Highway, where I lived, was like in Alberta, was like the prairie, jump on, man, 20 minutes, I was like, you know, I could travel probably the length of UK in 3 hours, no problem, going from south of Calgary to Edmonton. So yeah, here to do that is nearly like from why I live in the north of England, and just to get to the other side of the country and up into Scotland a bit, it was a half a day's travel, and that was me cooking and booking. So Yeah, it's nice, but it's also because it's so small. We have more people living in a country that's smaller than, let's say what, not much bigger than Victoria Island. So yeah.
DJ, what's going on?
What is up, Strange World? Woo! Happy to be here. How's it going, Mark and Peanut?
Pretty good. Below us, of course, is the always surly Peanut Gallery. Hey, Peanut.
I want casings.
I know. He says with, God, was that 8 exclamation points?
Yeah, more than chocolate.
Yeah, and we will briefly discuss, because we have a special guest tonight. So I made a video with Peanut's help earlier, in fact, just before the show. So you guys are going to go check that out.
Look, is this Peanut Gallery? Is he actually ever said anything more than one sentence? Because I watched a couple of Mark Sargent's things, and I don't think I've ever heard this guy saying more than 3 or 4 words in a whole live stream.
Remember, the best way to find other Flat Earth members like yourself is to get the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Yeah, it's cheap, it's easy, and you can use it to convert others into the great and powerful Flat Earth army. Like all of us here, we're Flat Earth influencers. And people in the chat, they're Flat Earth advocates. I think most of them are. I don't know how many trolls there are. And all you listening at home, yeah, become one of us. It's important.
No, do not.
So sleepy. And because it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, it's time to say goodnight to one of our listeners, Paige. Put on her 1973 Yogi's Gang pajamas. This is the end of 1973, guys. Now I can move to 1974. Got a cup of cocoa with exactly 6 tiny marshmallows, and we'll probably listen to the playback in the morning. Good night, Paige.
Good night, Paige.
Paige. It's too Flat Earther, Stephen Carpenter of the Deftones. Check out him on Be Real.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, because the time difference. Because you're on the you're close to the East Coast, aren't you? So yeah, 3 hours time difference. Yeah, it says 10, 11 o'clock, or even later. Sometimes Mikey's out like dead late, isn't he? So yeah, I kind of wish I lived back in Canada, or I lived in Alberta, but then it'd still be several hours for me to go over to where he is. And is it really worth it to go there just to wind up Mikey Smith? I mean, if I was in the area, I probably would, but I never actually traveled to Saskatchewan, never had a reason to, so.
TV, he does a podcast with Dr. Green Thumb every once in a while. And I think, I'm not going to announce the tour dates that are coming up because he's part of a festival, so I don't want to misquote exactly what day it's going to be on. You can look it up. If you want Deftone tickets, go find him. He's still on the East Coast. He's going to be there for a little bit longer. And then I can't remember where he's going to be for Halloween.
I mean, does Mark Sargent actually get anybody in here from the globe side, or is he going to cleanse his and this has an echo chamber going? Because I see a lot of
I think it's on the West Coast. Is it on West Coast? Crap, I don't remember. So check that out if you get a chance. Meetups. Let's get into them. A lot of meetups down, but we still have meetups left to go. So Tennessee, September 27th. That promo is on my channel. Minnesota, September 27th. That one's also on my channel. West UK, September 30th with Sean Hibbler, who's going to be coming in via video. Wales, that's also in the UK area. That's going to be October 7th. And
I wonder where in Wales it is. I know it's October 7th. I'm pretty sure I got something going that day. Anyway, it's not like I'd actually be able to travel that way. And it depends where it is in Wales, because if it's in South Wales, that's like 4 or 5 hours drive. It's not worth it. Nor is it worth the fuel. It's going to cost me, 70, 80 pounds in fuel just to go poke some flat earthers. Fun, but is it worth it? I'm just going to check my calendar. Well, the 8th, I have something going, but it's a weekday anyways. Did you say the 7th, didn't you?
That's also in the UK area. That's going to be October 7th.
Yeah. Fuck, that's a Tuesday. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Wales. That's also in the UK area. That's going to be October 7th. And look, before I do the International Truth Expo, I don't want to forget this. Snail mail. Every once in a while I'll get them. If you guys want to mail stuff to 2125 Myers Lane, Langley-Wa, not Langley-Va, I will show it on the air. And this one is a early Halloween postcard. Look at that. It is a puppy and a cat doing jack-o'-lanterns. And it says inside, carve out some wicked fun this Halloween. This is from my friends in Alaska, Ronnie and Christine. Right? Christine? Yeah. Yep, not going to say her last name. And she sent me a oh, hell no sticker. Thank you, Christine. I do love stickers. And she says, what does she say? She says, it's early, but wanted to spread some cheer. Have a good one. Keep warm. Thanks for all you do. EXO, Christine, and Ronnie. So very, very cool. Thank you, lady.
Wicked Pistol says echo, 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 echo. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely echo chamber. Not surprised.
Up in Alaska. Nice to know that you're with us. All right, what else we got?
Flerfs always have echo chambers. You ever notice anybody who debunks a flat Earth or like that tend to not censor opposition out? In fact, more than welcome it. I've only had a couple flat earthers come into mind. They don't tend to come back after because I tend to focus on them a little bit. None of them actually ever want to come up and chat either. I've offered, but it could be down to the fact that I don't really have many people. I need to get better at having people up the chat because I think I had unfornicated once on my chat and I kind of I thought I had it and then I realized I didn't. We had to go through something else. It worked in the end, but yeah, I need more practice.
Truth Expo. In fact, I got an email I got to read from Carol out in Arizona where it's going to happen. Hi guys. Get your tickets now. VIP tickets are limited. VIP swag bags are limited. We're going to talk about that in a second. The presenters right now. Mark Sargent, DJ Curious from Strange World. Woo! Ryan with Burn the Corporate Fiction. Nathan Thompson, Candid Truth. Ace Baker, Dr. Andrew Kaufman. Dave Weiss. Why is he even on there? Jerry Marzinski, Corey Kell, Zen Garcia, Al Morenton. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Joe Hanvey, Sylvia Halpert, Michael Keefe of FEB, and Amy Elohim with Restored Identity Apothecary. Wow, that's quite a list. And I will be going down there.
Oh, quickly, I was just going to say, I wanted to cover the SBVR model. On that channel, they said they were going after Globers and going after the final experiment and stuff. But I tried to type it in. I think I got the whoever it is, the YouTube channel who runs it. I couldn't find it. So if anybody wants to put it in the chat. Yeah, need to get Dick Wayne on my own. Yeah, it is entertaining. I've offered Dick Wayne to come on here and have a little chat, and I'll even promise I wouldn't take the piss out of him. But I do have some questions because I find him quite interesting. If he's not too freaking condescending and too much of an asshole, then he's all right. He got a little bit snarky with Phil Bell, but you can tell he'd ask questions and Phil Bell just blank him, like he just wouldn't, because Dick Wayne was kept trying to divert away from things, and he just wouldn't let it. So you can kind of see that after a bit, Dick Wayne, and he just didn't engage with them. And you can see Dick Wayne likes to poke. He likes to trigger people. So if I can manage to just keep myself cool and realize what he's fucking doing, then I think it'd be interesting. Saying that, he is so stupid. He's just so dumb. Even when you have somebody, a physicist sitting there, a physics professor sitting there trying to explain things and teach stuff to him, he just wasn't willing to listen. So I'm more of the common man, like the more hands-on. Like I went to trade school. I worked in the same industry for nearly 20 years and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah. As I was saying though, if anybody knows what the SBVR YouTube channels are, I know we had fucking, what's his name, Ronnie, and yeah, we had, the fellow Ronnie and the other one on there, but I didn't catch their YouTube channel, so I might have to go into Final Experiment and see if I can find them. But yeah. I was going to cover them because I think it'd be interesting, and they said they're going to go after, so maybe they're a bit active. Even though they ran away from MC2 and he wanted to debate them.
6th and leaving on the 10th, but it's officially going to be the 7th, 8th, and 9th of November. Get your tickets now. Swag bags. So tomorrow, just so you guys know, I want to show this off for DJ and everybody else.
Something souls. Right, yeah, it is, isn't it? The Sovereign Souls, is it? Awake Souls. Awake Souls. I think you're right, Lindsay. Break dead souls. Yeah. Here, Ronnie and Shame St. Plagier are on Globebusters. Oh, yeah? Probably. Yeah, what Lindsay said, yeah. I think Awake Souls, isn't it? Well, check this out for a little bit. Might go and just go check out one of their videos in a minute, a few minutes here. What time are we at? All right. I'm going to try to keep this stream to about 2 hours and then get off because I got stuff to do tomorrow.
Carol, you were getting a bag or a box. There's two things I'm going to send you tomorrow. One is going to be obviously the special VIP stickers, which will be in the VIP swag bag. And if there's leftover, it'll become first come, first serve. So you've got the oversized glow-in-the-dark flat earther stickers, which I have in this bag. This is the one bag.
Those are cool.
Yep. And then the Stephen Carpenter mallet behind the head. This is circa 1984, based on the Big Brother thing. Because
those are even cooler.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Covering up the globe, though, you got to like move it over.
I wonder how many people actually turn up to his Flat Earth meetups. Because he seems to do a lot of them. And he's even doing some over here. But I think I seen a picture once and there's like all the 5 people there. So just curious if how many people actually turn up to these.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
So, Stefan
sneak up on that little globe.
Yep, he's going to be, and the original was based on a Big Brother thing because the original was designed by the creator that made the Van Halen logo back in the day because this was part of the Van Halen 1984 tour. But Stefan hijacked it, and now it is part of his anti-globe propaganda, which I love so much. So those are going to be going your way, Carol, along with my autographed conspiracy theory cards. Those are going to be in the VIP bag. And the other thing I'm going to be sending her, and she doesn't know this, I'm going to surprise her with it. You know what, DJ?
It's not like the Flat Earthers actually have any evidence or proof or citations of like studies or experiments. All they have is just fallacious propaganda.
It occurred to me. You remember in Vegas where Karen had the autograph table where she had one of the Flat Earth Vegas posters and you could sign it?
Oh yeah, you were there all day long just signing autographs.
No,
it was ridiculous.
Not me. No, people could, all the guests were encouraged. You're killing me, man. All the guests were, yes, famous rock star life. It's really it's taxing. So no, people came, and anyone that came to the conference, they signed their name on a poster, and so the poster was just filled with. And I've got a wonderful shot. Maybe during the break I'll send it to you. So I thought, you know what, Karen inspired me here. I think we can take it a step further. So you know what I dug out of my Flat Earth archives? You're gonna like this. This is the backdrop for the Secret Show.
Oh yeah, I recognize
it. A big vinyl banner that says Google Flat Earth Clues. Yeah.
Nice.
And so I'm going to ship that to Carol. I've already got a tube ready to go.
Oh, it's too bad Patricia never got to sign it. It would be worth more.
Right?
It would be worth way more. Meh.
And so, I know, but Patricia dumped Mark Sargent, and now she's turned her back on the Flat Earth cult.
So I'm gonna send that to you tomorrow, Carol. And then all you have to do is get a big table, unfold the thing because it's big, it's a full-size banner, and then put a big thing of Sharpie, and then people don't have to worry about signing really small. Use multiple color Sharpies, and you can just fill that thing up. It's gonna be a blast.
I know we could piss out. I know you say one is too many. It's true, but unfortunately there is a lot of stupid people out there, and then you gotta think of the 1% of the stupid people. How many of the bottom 1% of them, how stupid are they really? And those are Flat Earthers.
So I won't sign it before I get down there because I'm not sure if it would smudge and stuff like that. So,
I remember I was so new to Flat Earth that I was like, I don't want to sign this. This is like evidence that I was here.
Really?
Yeah.
You remember that poster then?
I remember thinking it like, I don't know if I should sign this with my real name.
Well, yes, it was sent to the agency right afterwards.
Exactly.
Karen, I think Karen still has it. So at that point, Carol can either keep it or she can raffle it off, whatever. But I think she should keep it for posterity because I think it'd be kind of fun. But as a full-size vinyl banner, it's going to be coming to you in a tube along with that box. That's going to be very fun. The other thing I'm going to show this off every week until I go because I'm going to be wearing it on the way down there. Remember the coat of credibility from Vegas? Yes, this is the coat of expression. Ooh, that. And by the way, I've actually.
Yes, Lindsay, that's exactly the Patricia he's talking about. The one who turned her back on him, broke Mark Sargent's heart, and left the Flat Earth bullshit cult after the fatal experiment because she realized the evidence was just too strong and she just couldn't ignore it any longer.
This is a leather coat.
What the heck does?
Speaking of that, did anybody watch Max interview another Flat Earther who just left the cult recently? And he was talking about measurements are just like lines of latitude south of the equator, and how the fact is that you can measure them and realize that they don't diverge, that they converge, and then just even distances, which is funny enough because I think Globeface did this, where he did 2 runways and showed one north and south, like both around east to west are measured, I realized that on a flat Earth, one would be that, and the other one would have to be that. But yet they're both the same length. So how could one down here that's twice as long be the same length as the one that's up here? I did the same thing with flight paths, showing that a flight up in the northern hemisphere is that long. It's the same distance as the one in the southern hemisphere is like that long. So it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Yeah, Canadian Space Advocate. Yeah, it was all right. It was an interesting talk. I think the fella's still kind of on the fringe for a lot of different conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But he seemed like a nice enough fella. So
Does this have to do with flat Earth? I don't know,
Right.
but
No, it is built, handmade in 1975, never worn, inspired by the movie. By the way, there's some, you know me, I love movies. Here, let me share on this. You're gonna like this, and we'll run the promo for the conference here in a second. So we're gonna share screen, and we're gonna do, because this is actually inspired by the movie. If you can see this here, Midnight Cowboy.
can't see it.
And you can't because I forgot to remove my thing. Darn it!
Flat Earth
Hang on
University.
1 second.
Hey, look who it is.
Nice, Mark over. Give me a second if I can find the share screen. 1 minute. Where is it? Can't find.
Do you ever worry about sharing the wrong thing?
Yes, I do. No, because I don't do anything weird. As far
Yeah, you don't want to see his search history for you on for for certain sites.
as I know. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the movie Midnight Cowboy, 1969.
You don't want to see the part where all the stuff he shares where he's like stalking Patricia. No, don't want to show that.
And it was it won Best Picture, and that's with John.
We still
Voight.
can't see it.
You can't?
No.
Peanut, you can see it right there. It's right there.
I don't see it.
Hang
Let's
on.
double
We're gonna
check the
stop-
chat. I'll go straight to YouTube.
We're
Now
gonna
to see-
stop the screen. I'm gonna share it again. 1 second.
It wouldn't be Strange World without technical difficulties.
How about
Thanks,
now?
guys.
How about now?
Whoa.
I see it.
Yes, cool. There we go.
Okay.
We see it now.
So Midnight Cowboy,
Yeah, that looks like a lot of Brokeback stuff there. I'm sorry, but
leather jacket with a fringe. This was circa 1969. Won Best Picture of the Year. That's with John Voight and Dustin Hoffman. John Voight. Let's see if you know this one, DJ.
It's Angelina Jolie's dad.
Angelina Jolie's dad. People think, Angelina Jolie is part of a little bit of acting royalty. Won Best Picture that year. John Voight did not get it. Dustin Hoffman, of course, went on to do some things, as you can imagine. But yes, that is the very close to the fringe jacket with that full fringe on the arms and fringe on the top. Code of expression. I'm going to be wearing this because you should express who you are and be yourself. So I'm going to
and be a bit cringe, but whatever, Mark Sargent. If he wants to wear a tacky 1970s fringy cowboy jacket, well, more power. As long as he feels happy in it.
I'm going to be raffling this thing off.
Yeah, just, Madonna said it first.
Still cringe.
Absolutely. So that's kind of fun. So the Midnight Cowboy jacket will be.
I think it's cool. Some guy out there's like, I'm getting me that jacket.
Yeah, no,
NDB, you'd rock that.
And it's, again, this is not production made. There isn't a label on this thing. This has 1975 peach satin interior. Oh yeah,
it looks.
This thing is gorgeous.
Rodeo opulence.
This is a Western jacket, size XL. So if you guys are,
I haven't quite made the connection between that and Flat Earth, but hey, express yourself.
It's more of an express. Don't be afraid to be who you are. You know what I mean? The Flat Earth isn't just about. It is about the science, but it's also about being yourself.
What science? I've never encountered a flat earth that used any science. They tend to reject the science. So I see about cringe. I don't know. His background seems a bit with the guy talking and stuff like that. A bit weird. Whatever. I couldn't run that anyways. My computer was shit a bed. It's just an old laptop that just. I tried to have something even remotely like that, and it just no.
Yourself and ignoring peer pressure.
For sure.
It's just like his cap says, punch me over and over and over again. It does, yeah.
True.
If I can wear that in an airport and get away with it,
smack my face.
You can't do it. And some people will be like, oh, that might be a nice coat.
Okay. Mark Sargent's hat literally says, I'm a dumbass. I'm a dumbass.
Your glasses and that jacket.
I'd love to see him wear that in the UK. Fucking hell, people be taking action to rip it into him. It'd be so
flat.
fun.
It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
All bets are off.
Well, I know. Yeah. It's me trying to be a little more cool, but I think it's kind of cool. Again, made in 1975 when things were.
Hey, he says he's going to Wales, isn't he? Coming up on next week, dude. I think I need to email freaking Creaky Blinders. He needs to go there. He needs to go there and have a little have a little chat. He needs to go and investigate. if he wants to email Creaky, let him know that Mark Sargent, the 7th of October is going to Wales for a Flat Earth conference, and Creaky needs to go there.
Kind of cool. Kind of.
Hey.
Okay, let's do the promo
Jazzy.
for the I know. Thank you, Peanut. I'm gonna do the video for the International Truth Expo. This is the alien version. Again, I'm not saying there'll be aliens there, but you know what? I'm not saying it.
I'm gonna try something that works in MC2's live.
The 2025 International Truth Expo is being held this November 7th, 8th, and 9th in Quartzsite, Arizona, and tickets are on sale now. This year, the Strange World team will be represented by Flat Earth Mark and the ridiculously good-looking DJ Curious. There are several evening rocket launches currently scheduled, and there have been reports of UFOs, but we haven't seen anything yet. While we don't expect any flying saucers or little green men, attendees are hopeful that there will be a sighting during the conference.
I would love to see a spaceship during the conference. Where did you get that costume? Where it looks so real? If the Strange World team is there, then Flat Earth will be the main focus.
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be here.
He's just so cringy, isn't he? He really is.
Flat background.
He wore in the end cost wardrobe something along the lines of $5,600. It was insane.
Worth it.
Yeah, absolutely worth it, I thought. And again, if you didn't pick up on the subtle alien UFO clues, the hints that we dropped in that video, well, and Peanut wants me to do a redneck.
Oh yeah, Mark Sargent thinks that aliens made the flat Earth, didn't he? I tried to do a video on that. Does Mark not realize that if there's aliens, then the Earth isn't flat, and it's not covered by a giant firmament because, space is real? Like, holy shit. And if there's other planets, then if there are planets, then we're a planet? Fucking, it just blows my mind. Like, he believes that aliens made the flat Earth, so then aliens are real, so then there's other planets out there, which means the observations of Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, like Saturn I did like last night, is another planet, which other planets are out there, other galaxies, other solar systems, which means that we don't have a dome because aliens can come here, and we see planets often as space is real, so then Earth, everything else is a sphere, then so are we, right? This fucking makes no difference. I tried to type in the chat Dick Wayne 3 times. Every time I do it in MC2's live, Dick Wayne shows up, so I was trying to see if it works mine, but I don't know. I haven't seen him yet.
Version of it.
Like,
I don't know.
like
Should I do a
Beetlejuice?
redneck version?
I think every week it should be something new.
All right, I'll see what I
You
can
missed your Pilgrim opportunity, but
I see. I think that's too low key. I think it's too conservative. It just doesn't go along. Come on, they wear pretty bland stuff, right?
Well, that was the point. After what happened with that wardrobe malfunction, it would have shown we were swinging the pendulum the other way. But
yeah, good point. Okay, let me see. Before I run the shooting video, and then I got to do the fast Earth clue, and then we're going to bring on our guest. Was there anything else I forgot? So those are going to Carol tomorrow. She'll get the autograph thing. She'll get all the sticker stuff, the VIP swag stuff. I got to get my airline tickets here pretty soon. But yeah, I'm planning on going.
People are like, "We're still here. Did the rapture happen yet?" Nope.
Oh, wait a minute. He says get airline tickets soon. He's flying out to the UK, isn't he, like next week? And this is posted 19 hours ago, so this is posted yesterday. Like, unless he's paying a freaking bomb for his tickets, then, well, yeah, good luck. I mean, yeah. You should have had those months ago. Fuck. Idiot. Just throw money away.
Right, the Rapture. Yeah. There is still, we didn't even talk about that last week. We should have ended the show with, by the way, next week will be the Rapture show. That still officially is going till when tomorrow? 4:56. Is that your time?
No, it's just people. Okay, so people are making predictions that's the 23rd, 24th. But if it's already the 24th on the other side of the world, then it has to be today for us on the 23rd, which again, still here, unfortunately. But hey, whatever happens, right?
Right. Good point. All right, so let's.
What does it mean still here? Does he think the world's going to end tomorrow? Which would be like today? Or yesterday? Yeah. 24th. 5 to 11. Yeah, still fine.
So just before the show, a couple hours before the show, Peanut contacted me because just so you guys know, we're still kind of tracking the Charlie Kirk thing, what's going on in the background, and there's something that Turning Point USA did recently, which I wouldn't have normally done a video on, but it's got a lot of the people in the firearms social media community just losing their minds. Which recently they said, oh yeah, by the way, we know there was a big hunting rifle used, but Charlie's neck is so strong and Wolverine adamantium like, and literally his PR guy called him a man of steel, that it stopped the bullet. I just couldn't let it slide. And so when Peanut's kids, by the way, I should say kids, they're over 18, decide, it inspired them. It's like, you know what, we should do a reinforced neck video. And so they got some cow vertebrae bones and a treated piece of 4x4 lumber, strapped them together and shot them with a 308, which is very, very similar. And so I'm going to show you really quick. It takes 3 minutes, and I'm going to show you what happened. So here we go. You ready? Share screen. Here we go. Okay, I wasn't going to do a video on this, but since Turning Point decided to release a statement saying that a 30-06 round hit Charlie Kirk's neck and his neck stopped it because of apparently superhuman abilities, we're going to do a full-blown test here. And what you're looking at is 2 cow vertebrae bones that are strapped to a pressure-treated piece of 4x4 wood. And the rounds we are using here to go through it are Winchester 308, which, as you guys know by now, is slightly...
You trying to the G Gill? Dick Queen. Now, if you do remember when I did address this, I did say that I think if it was possible, I didn't realize they were claiming it was a vertebrae in his neck, which is dumb. All I heard is they said is he had high bone density, which can be a thing. And I thought with just the angle it came in, they may have his scapula and ribs, and then because it's at a certain angle, they may actually gone and hit. And then gone down or ricocheted inside. I didn't realize the claim was it was like they reckon in the end hit his like the vertebrae in his neck and then it's just into the skin. Because I would have called bullshit on that. Because vertebrae, especially in the neck, where it's like smaller vertebrae, it's not like the base of your spine where you have the thickest vertebrae. And even then, it's not solid because it's obviously got the spinal cord and everything going through it. I don't think would stop, especially a rifle bullet like that. So that's bullshit. I don't know why they're saying that. Maybe it's PR freaking shit, but who knows? And as we've seen through, the video I showed, we could see that it was not from that angle, from the other angle, and it was an exit wound. So yeah.
Less than a 30-06, so it's a slightly smaller round. 150 grain copper jacket. And we're going to set this thing up at about 40 yards out. And again, cow vertebrae bones strapped to either side, both sides. Prediction, which in this is because fired from 100.
I'm going to skim through this a little bit.
2,850. And now we make one shot.
This I think is curious.
Here we go. Boom. Target goes down. And now we move in to check it out. Again, at the muzzle, velocity is about 2,850 feet. So first vertebrae bone, there's the entry wound. We're going to spin it around, and the exit wound just shatters it, goes in.
Now, we'll get a little caveat to that. That obviously is a bone that's from an animal that's been dead for a while. It's dried out. It's going to be extremely brittle, as opposed to a living bone inside a living animal, which will actually have a little more give, as well as just have nutrients and stuff. They won't have been stripped away and dried, and so it will actually and have marrow and stuff. So it will have a bit more robustness to it. I may have a bit more give before it's going to break. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm not saying it will stop the bullet. I'm just saying that this is kind of a little bit, disingenuous in a way.
Into the 4x4. We'll see if we can get the strap off here and then hold it up. Some lead fragments already going. There's the entrance wound into the 4.
Lindsay, you talk the guy who allegedly shot Trump's ear. That guy took his own life, didn't he? He got shot. No, he didn't take his own life. He got shot by a sniper. After he fired off a couple rounds, and then the Overwatch finally decided to freaking pull his finger out. Went down and then went bang, one shot, one kill, and took him out. So I don't know what else you'd say, because they had looked into stuff like that and what he had done and this and that. So social media, and then that was about it from all I heard. But you're not gonna hear much from it anyways. It's old news, and like I said, it's not like he's around. So, as for the other guy who took shots at Trump when Trump was on his on a golf course, remember the guy who was like, I think it was down in Florida or something like that, and he pulled out an M16 or something, took a couple shots. Yeah, I believe he's been convicted and is awaiting sentencing at this moment in time. But he's been convicted for obviously trying to, allegedly, attempted assassination of a candidate, and then obviously weapons charges and stuff like that. So yeah, he's still awaiting sentencing, but he's been found guilty on all charges. There's like 4 or 5 or something.
By 4 piece of wood, and again, there's not going to be much expansion on pressure treated, and it goes right out the back, no problem at all. And then it's going to strike the second cow vertebrae bone, which you're going to hold up here in a sec. And this just wiped this thing out, because at that point it's got a little bit of expansion. So the entry one's about here, pick up the fragments, and just took that bone and just messed it up. And then
yeah, not surprised. I used to do the same thing with the 22 caliber. You used to go through pieces of plywood of 2x4 from distance. I had high velocity and I had hollow points, and they'd go through both go through no problem from a distance with 22 caliber rifle, which obviously is a much smaller round, a lot less power than what this has. So,
because again, not only did they kept when turning point,
yeah, this is
150 grain treated piece. Too much again. This is a special guest show. We want to get to him in just a sec. I do want to run the fast earth clue, because that takes 60 seconds, but.
Due process. Well, apparently, yeah. Like I said, he went through the court and everything like that, and was convicted. So, obviously, I'm gonna go by what I can see on the news and stuff like that, because I'm not in the UK, so I'm not in the US. I mean, sorry, I was just looking to see if I had something come through here, but nothing important. All right, sorry about that. Okay.
Check it out. It's on my channel. It's called the reinforced neck test, which is, look, I've done my fair. I'm older, kids. I've done my fair share of shooting. It is America after all. Never heard of such a thing. Never, not second hand, third hand, does not compute ever. Turning point, you got to come up with a better narrative. FBI got to come up with a better story, because what you're spinning out there, it is not tracking and resonating at all. So there you go. And we will do
random cow vertebrae. I don't know, but
again, you're shooting. It's not that it just went through it. It kept going. It's not like it just went through and then just dropped off and we just picked it up later. Oh no. We'll get to more of those tests down the road, I'm sure. But anyway, thank you, Peanut, and thank you, Peanut's kids.
So obviously these guys haven't heard of the one that I showed at the beginning of the stream. So I'll have to see. Somebody should tag Sargent in it so he stops wasting his time.
That did it on their own. Again, it's not good when kids under 21 get inspired enough to do this. They know better. The young shooters, you pick this up at an early age. It's like, that's not right.
Crazy.
All right. Last thing before we go is I was also inspired by a friend of mine who came to me and said, who's not part of the community, and said, you know what, you should do a quick little video on Putin. And because it's short, and it's like, why? And I'll say she, because I'm going to screw it up eventually. She.
You reckon the flat earthers are, they're losing so much traction with the flat earth grift and not getting it like Mark Sargent? He is a grifter. They're starting to expand into other conspiracy theories and get into stuff like that. Now he's talking about obviously the Charlie Kirk thing, and now so he said Putin, because the flat earthers just, people are tired of hearing it. They're not really getting any traction on it. Nobody's listening to it. It's just kind of, it's been debunked that much times. Now they're going into other things. I mean, makes you wonder.
She is a friend of mine, and she said, you know what? She goes, I know a lot about how people work and psychology, and I think when it comes to this guy, if he's going to do anything weird, it's going to be on his birthday, because men in power, men at a certain level, tend to do stuff on their birthday if they have. Is that you?
Sorry, you're going the wrong way.
You don't hear traffic that much where you are, DJ. So
it's a one-way street below, so people, when you're going onto oncoming traffic, because people make that wrong turn all the time, and it's just like the most entitled horn ever, like.
Well, that's a good sign, because if you're honking, you're not crashing. Stats will show all day long. If you have time to honk, you have more than enough time to hit your brakes, and you almost never hear. It's always. You know,
it's very planes, trains, and automobiles around here when they're on the wrong side of the road, and the people are trying to scream out the window. Do you remember that scene with John Candy?
Yes.
And Steve Martin?
Yeah.
And they're like, "You're going the wrong way," all day long outside this window. But anyway,
I love that movie. All right, let's run this thing and we'll get to our guest. Share. Here we go. Share screen. It's only 60 seconds. That may or may not change your life. Let's find out.
People thought that was the rapture, actually.
There we go. So my Flat Earth friends messaged me saying, Mark, what's the big secret about October 7th, 2025? Well, it's not really a secret, just maybe something you haven't noticed. Kind of like how Weed Day is on April 20th, that's 420, even though it's also Hitler's birthday. Not kidding. This is what happens when stoners make their own holidays. Shout out 422. October 7th happens to be Vladimir Putin's birthday. Why should you care? Because when a billionaire and lifetime spy also becomes the lifetime leader of a superpower, they've reached the top of the world food chain. At that point, how do you really celebrate anything? You have to give hidden meanings to simple things like the date of your birthday. Then you plan events around that date and they become hidden pieces of your legacy. Now, I'm not officially predicting that something wild is going to happen on October 7th of this year, but if it doesn't, Russia appears to be involved, then you have a place to start from. Makes sense, right? What do you give the man who has everything? Historical events that are tied to his birth. How's that for an ego trip? The rest of you 1%ers are just posers. Watch and learn, kids. While you're at it, Google the leader of Earth and see who keeps showing up. Do your own research while there's still time. Whatever. I'm done.
Is he the leader of Earth? It's not Vladimir Putin. I mean, every leader of any big country thinks they're the best and biggest and best of the world. Kim Jong-un thinks he's leader. Donald Trump obviously thinks he's the best since, the best thing since sliced bread. And, he's like every other, freaking Keir Starmer in the UK thinks that he's the best thing ever. That sneeze has been sitting there since the beginning of the stream. Ooh. Yeah. I don't know. Mark Sargent, you can pick it up. This is getting boring AF.
Yeah, there you go. And I had to throw in that little jab because again, I was gonna yes, of course I'm number one slot, but he's all over the place there, which I think is interesting. So keep an eye out. October 7th, which happens to be a show day for us. That will be 2 weeks from tonight. So,
hey, maybe I'm surprised some billionaire hasn't paid to bump you off of that top search spot. And be like,
I know, right? Well, it'd be easy enough to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're, why wouldn't you? Right? Whatever.
Just letting you live your dream.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That's
all right, guys.
Basically the long and short of it. So now, DJ, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes, we have the one and only Mark Gober.
Does Mark Sargent think that he's like the top search flat earther or something like that? Or top search what?
An award-winning author of the Upside Down series of 7 books spanning consciousness, politics, economics, medicine, cosmology, and more. His latest book, An End to the Upside Down Cosmos, challenges the spinning globe model. He previously worked in investment banking in New York, strategy consulting in Silicon Valley, and graduated magna cum laude from Princeton University. Mark Gober, welcome back to Strange World.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, thank you for being here. So great. How have you been since we last saw you?
A lot of people seem to want to talk about this topic.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been encouraged by that because I wasn't sure when I wrote the book if people would just think it's totally crazy, and more people want to talk about it.
So what has the response been? Are you just blowing minds left and right?
It's hard for me to tell, actually, because I often don't get a lot of direct communication relative to the number of people who listen to the interviews or read the books. But I do get a lot of positive feedback from the people who reach out.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and I see you're making the rounds with your interviews, and you've been doing interviews for a long time, and it's just kind of interesting to see you go from the beginning 5 years ago, to now Flat Earth. Do people just treat you like, where has this guy, has he lost his mind, or how is it going?
Well, the funny thing is I think there are a lot of people who don't even know that I've written more than my first book.
Okay.
Because that was like I was writing about the nature of consciousness, and then I've gone into politics and economics and UFOs. So it's unless someone's really keeping up with me, they don't necessarily know.
There was just somebody who's into a whole bunch of conspiracy theories. He's just gone down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, and decided that he's decided to click selected all of above. Right. Okay.
Yeah. When we were growing up, if you were someone of your, educational background, and you start talking UFOs, it's kind of like a silver bullet for your career in a way. It's like, this guy's too fringe, and then let alone flat Earth, which we know is the quickest way to shut a person down. But are you finding just people are curious? Like, what is the pulse out there if you had to put your finger on it? Curiosity, or maybe just amazement, or are they kind of going, this could be true now?
Well, I think on the UFO topic, it's almost mainstream at this point. So it's not such a weird thing to talk about. With regard to flat Earth, I mean, the way I frame it is it's about cosmology. It's what is this place? What are the lights in the sky? That's how I like to talk about it. And that seems
stars, planets, moon, sun, airplanes, helicopters, satellites. We know what they are.
to be a bit more disarming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, someone in the chat goes, how do you go from UFOs to FE? And I'm like, well, actually, it's a huge stepping stone because so many people are into space. You know, we're inundated with the movies, and then just kind of growing up in the past 80s, 90s, and today, seeing all the different shows about aliens. It's right there on the History Channel. And so when you get to Flat Earth, you go, whoa, that's how hard they're willing to kind of push this lie, or, you know, package up what could be truth. ETs could be dimensional beings, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way I framed that book. It's called An End to Upside Down Contact. And at that point I hadn't examined cosmology. So I had a more traditional perspective on it. But even in spite of that, the question is, are we alone? Are there other intelligences? And so it's more about that versus where do they come from? And there are just so many examples, like you say, DJ, that a lot of them come from an interdimensional place, it seems, or they're existing within consciousness. You don't even need a UFO craft in a lot of these reports. So it does actually, it's not totally incompatible with the cosmology discussion.
Let me read your mind. Let me read your mind. Sorry, because he said that UFOs are like, you don't need a craft to contact them. You need your mind. So sorry, this popped into my head.
But okay, so
sorry. The quote is, "Open your mind. Open your mind." If you know, you know. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1980s, Total Recall. Yeah.
It's so crazy and very cool that you've managed to, you know, dive into all these subjects and put together cohesive books for the people out there to kind of break it down. But what was your favorite so far of researching and kind of blew your mind the most?
I would say it's where I started.
Okay. And what was
2016, and then the book came out in 2018. Of course, I didn't know I was going to be writing books at the time, but it was the idea that consciousness is not produced by the brain.
Oh, really? Where the fuck's it come from? Because I'm pretty sure if I get hit in the head, I become unconscious, and then eventually I wake up with a massive headache, and I'm conscious again, and it hurts. No, I'm pretty sure the consciousness is in the brain. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's scientific studies showing consciousness in the brain. So,
if consciousness is produced by the brain, then that means when you die, that is the end of your consciousness, because that means there's no brain capable of producing a consciousness.
Okay, you speak advocate. You see, you just went down a self-induced rabbit hole. Oh dear. Welcome back.
And that was what I used to believe. I used to believe that life was random and meaningless, and when you die, that's the end, and you just have to live with it. Versus,
it's such a pessimistic way of looking at life. Who said anything about life being random or meaningless? Life can have whatever meaning you want to give it, whatever meaning you want to have. Life has meaning if you want to give it the meaning and how you want to approach it. Now, if you want to have a meaningless life and do nothing and sit and just exist, it's up to you. We have free will. We can do that if we want. Free will. It's a point, right? As for being random, well, it's not really random. It's evolved and focused, and we have our places in our society and in our culture. We make our little mark on this, like everybody else before us and everything else after us, everybody after us.
Maybe our body is some kind of vehicle that's tapping into a consciousness that takes you in a very spiritual direction quickly, by definition. So imagine going from life is random and meaningless to, wait, there's spiritual significance to this reality, and our identity is more than our body. Nothing will ever be more mind-blowing than that for me.
This is people who feel so inferior and so scared that they are looking for anything, and in fact, even to the point where they're making stuff up to try to give themselves some sort of self-importance or meaning because they just feel so inadequate. Sad, really. I feel sorry for them.
So true. It's so true, because you go from the scientific background was like, when you die, that's it, lights out. I hope you had a good life. Sorry if you didn't have everything you wanted. To all of a sudden,
said that.
So much more is possible. So it sounds like you were being set up to kind of accept Flat Earth when it came time, because it's like you were never going to start with that one, right? I mean, it's just getting there. It was just kind of going, oh my God, everything I've ever learned is a lie. So how have you been processing that?
Right. It's been an unraveling in so many different areas. I think the sixth book I wrote before the cosmology book, An End to Upside.
It's weird because 90%, 99% of the most of the world believes in some sort of higher power, deity, and some sort of religion, and also most of the world also knows that the Earth is a globe, a sphere orbiting the sun in our solar system in the Milky Way galaxy, and both those things can exist at the same time. So yeah, just you don't have to believe in the flat Earth to believe in a God. You can have your God, deity, and also have a globe Earth, and they say your God created our planet and maybe created the solar system if you want to go. And some people can think that even their God created the whole entire universe and everything in it, including, you know, the planets, everything else. Hey, Real Cygnus, how's it going there, buddy?
Down medicine really helped me in terms of examining cosmology, because the same logical fallacies I saw in mainstream medicine exist within cosmology, where basically people observe something and they jump to a conclusion about what caused that observation. They see wet grass and then they make a whole model about how it rained, when in fact maybe there were sprinklers or dew or some other explanation. And we see that in medicine all the time. Someone gets sick and
yeah, when you follow the evidence, and the evidence to show, and that example I gave there, you see wet grass and think that it rain, but then did you see wet grass, you look up in the sky and you see rain clouds that are just clearing away? Or did you you see wet grass and then notice that there's a sprinkler sitting there that's been turned off? Or it's only wet in one area where you can see where, you know, the range of where the sprinkler was. Right? So it's just called follow the evidence and look at everything instead of just sitting there and going, oh, the grass is wet and I want it to have been a sprinkler, so I'm going to say it's a sprinkler because I'm looking at the grass and that's what I think it should be, so that's why I'm going to say it is. And because sprinklers make things wet. Instead of not realizing hold on, wait a minute, everything's wet, including the trees and everything else, outside of a range of what a sprinkler would touch, and oh shit, look at that, there's rain clouds above my head and starting to clear away.
and they jump to a conclusion that it was a germ. Okay, that's one hypothesis, but maybe there were other reasons a bunch of people got sick at a party. And you look at the
no, because it's called understanding. We understand medicine. We understand viruses. We understand bacteria. We understand things. If people have the symptoms, say at a party, and everybody ends up with like vomiting and extreme diarrhea and a lot of pain, and then you look at the party and realize that there was uncooked chicken, then we know that everybody has salmonella poisoning, because the evidence proves that, and then the symptoms also verify your hypothesis, and then you look and discover, oh look, this uncooked chicken, and people ate it.
The way that experiments in virology are done and the inferences that are made. It's this example that as I'm looking at the different paradigms I've examined.
We understand viruses. Virology is a very well understood science, and we can actually observe viruses and bacteria with electron microscopes.
There's a common theme of society teaching us about a paradigm that has never been directly observed.
Viruses have been observed, proven, tested on. And in fact, we have labs that actually test and work with them and try and so have some of the most dangerous and lethal ones out there that are locked away. So yeah.
So one example is we're taught that consciousness is something that just pops out of our brain, because we know there are correlations between brain activity and conscious experience. Like you stimulate one part of the brain and then the person has a shift in their consciousness, but correlation.
Consciousness is proven. We have brain scans showing it. Here you can see, as I said, you have consciousness controls, vegetative state, no consciousness, minimal conscious states, and locked-in syndrome. So we actually have brain scans showing different conscious states. So consciousness is actually been verified, and we can actually observe it. Can't explain it, but we can observe it. And guess where we're looking? Funny enough, we look at the brain and we observe activity which actually correlates with consciousness. So while we're still exploring stuff, and there's some parts of the brain, bits and processes of the brain, how it works, we're still discovering. We can at least observe it, and we know where it is. He said consciousness isn't in the brain, and yet we scan the brain and we can see scans and stuff showing it there. And so there's different activity.
Doesn't mean that there's a causation necessarily. The reality is no one has ever seen consciousness pop out of a brain. The brain could be an antenna. The brain could be a filtering mechanism. Same thing with a virus. A virus is a very specific definition. It's an obligate intracellular parasite. It gets inside of a host cell of an organism. It replicates.
What the fuck did you say? Sorry, I was reading the chat.
The brain could be an antenna. The brain could be a filtering mechanism. Same thing is no one has ever seen one part of the brain and then the person has a shift in their consciousness. But correlation is we're taught that consciousness is something that just pops out of our brain, because we know there are correlations between brain activity and conscious experience. Like you stimulate one part of the brain and then the person has a shift in their consciousness. But correlation doesn't mean that there's a causation necessarily. The reality is...
Well, obviously there is you said you stimulate and you have a shift in consciousness. So then obviously there is a correlation there, because you're changing the one of the factors. So you're manipulating one of the variables, and then you're seeing a change in that. So then you're seeing where I've changed this, I've manipulated this, and now I'm seeing this thing change, which just shows that because manipulated the brain in this way, I have now caused this change, showing that there is a relation, there is causation. So him saying that is just him hand waving it away, but he's just literally said that by manipulating one of the variables, you're able to change what you were testing.
Is no one has ever seen consciousness pop out of a brain. The brain could be an antenna. The brain could be a filtering mechanism. Same thing with a virus. A virus is a very specific definition. It's an obligate intracellular parasite. It gets inside of a host cell of an organism. It replicates. It bursts out. It does this in a bunch of cells in the human's body or the organism's body. It causes physical symptoms in the organism, and then it jumps from one organism to another. I just described a very basic process that we all have been told is true. No one has ever observed that process. And the same thing if we want to talk about cosmology. We're told there was a Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago that led to our solar system after many, many years, where Earth is flying around the sun in an expanding universe, and it exists as a spinning globe with a radius value of roughly 4,000 miles at the equator, spinning on a tilted axis, wobbling in multiple ways. No one has ever directly observed any of that. We don't have video.
We do, and we have, and yeah, we've got stuff like stellar aberration, parallax, and we have different shifts in the stars. Like I said, where the 4,000 years ago, we have Thuban was a near star that was part of Draco, the Draconis constellation. Now we have Polaris, and we look at the previous observations going back thousands of years, where because the stars were something that a lot of cultures actually documented and looked at, and then through that we can show a change in how fast, and know that about every 24,000 years the axis of the Earth does actually have a bit of a wobble to it. So and so we actually do see where different constellations do change. So we know that it was Thuban so many thousand years ago. Now it's Polaris. Polaris, we can actually see it moving. Started out further away. Now it's about half a degree. Then it'll actually start moving away, and then there'll be a is it the dog star? Is it that will be the next one? That will be the pole star. So we actually can predict and know which one's going to be, and the process which is going to happen. This is only, and we also see our change going around the Milky Way around the center. So this is something else that's very observed and been documented over a very long time. The rotation, obviously we can see rotation. We have even satellites, so they'll watch this Earth right now, like the flat earthers are going not onto, but yeah, the Epic Discover satellite is out there, and it's in Lagrange ray point 1, and it watches the Earth spin. You can watch a video where it takes a picture every 2 hours. So yeah. And as Canadian Space Advocate said, we have observations of different phases of stars and planets being formed. Yes, we 100% do, yeah. In fact, I don't know if you can see it with the backyard telescope, but you can definitely, you may be able to. There are like different clusters and stuff, and gas clouds and stuff where new stars are being formed as we speak. But not as fast, maybe not in our lifetime, but we do see stuff being born. Real cygnus, okay. Well, your real cygnus, of course, it's correlated. Correlated, though, we've only known for like a decade that most psychedelics only reduce activity and does not light it up as the axis tree, as most would have expected. Like I said, there's still a lot we're still discovering on the brain and stuff like that, but you can see there is still, like, for one, he said the consciousness isn't in the brain, but then we observe activity related to consciousness in the brain, which sees that's where it's coming from. Now I suppose maybe you could fringe and say, is the brain like picking up on something, but for the most part, we are here. I am me. I'm in my body, in my brain, everything. It is me, right? Now, you could say it's, I don't know, a spark of life, energy. Whatever is me. When I go, the energy isn't destroyed but changed, and then my energy, my whatever it could be passed on, that somebody could call spirit. But we are seeing something is physical, it is happening, and like he said, if you can change one thing in the brain, they see a consciousness or something about it change, then you've changed a variable, and then from that change, if you're changing that variable and you're seeing what you're testing is changing, then there is definitely something going on where you're testing it. There's definitely something going on there.
Video footage of Earth flying around the sun. We don't have video footage of a Big Bang. We don't have video footage of a spinning globe doing a full rotation.
Yes, we do.
Continuous raw.
And we have the CMB, which is part of the Big Bang, which is what helped us show. And also, we can see galaxies and stuff moving away from us. We have, is it redshift? Redshifting away? Yeah. I was getting redshift or blue shift, but yeah. So yeah, we do.
Raw footage of that, where you zoom in and see buildings hanging upside down on the bottom and sideways on the side and upright on the top simultaneously. We don't have direct evidence for the things we're told.
I really see it's really weird to say that, because how would you expect to say that? Because if you're up in a commercial airplane plane, which is, let's say, 40,000 feet up, you can't see buildings. So why would you think we can see buildings from orbit if you can't even see buildings from 3 miles up on a commercial airplane that's still flying in the atmosphere? So it's dumb. It's stupid. Like flat earthers don't understand scale. No, we don't see things hanging all of this and that. Don't see buildings, because why the fuck would we?
Mm-hmm. Which, you hear that, globe friends out there? Go try to look it up, see what you find.
And by the way, that doesn't mean those things aren't true by itself, but it's important to acknowledge from the start. There's no direct evidence for these things that are mainstream paradigms, and therefore we're based.
There is flat earthers, just not at all.
The mainstream paradigms are based on inference, and of course, as you and your audience knows, there are also certain anomalies that the models cannot uphold.
Exactly, and we're still learning, right? I mean, this is a pretty complex realm, but we all get to this.
That's weird because like flat earthers can't, flat earthers, their model can't even explain the sunset and sunrise. So let's start with the basics first with yours, and before you start trying to say that the globe can explain stuff.
Point where like, look, we know what it's not doing based on observation, based on what you've said about cosmology. We talked, and if you haven't seen our first interview with Mark, please go back and check it out because we really dive into certain flat Earth evidence and the anecdotes that he uses in his book, and we'll try to touch on things today. But wanted to have a little bit more an overview of what you've been up to and how it's been changing your life, because this is once you get to
the only thing flat earthers understand, Zach Hyde, is what they don't understand. You know what I mean? If you ask flat earthers stuff, they think they understand what they think they understand, and then anything they can't explain, they say they don't know, and that's what they know. Yes, as Real Sigma said, the use of the word realm tells you everything you need to know. Yeah, I think this Mark Gauber is a religious flair. So, yeah, you can tell.
The flat side, it's like it opens up a whole new a bunch of new opportunities to interview with people who are kind of in a like mind, and it's refreshing, I would imagine. Because if you don't mind, walk us back through what each book is kind of about and how it ties into maybe a bigger picture and where it's led you for a second.
Yeah, it's a good question. And if your audience isn't aware of my background, I used to work in the financial world. I did investment banking in New York, and then I was a partner.
So it has nothing to do with science, right? So you know about money.
A Silicon Valley based strategy firm. So I was not into any of this stuff. And I had a big awakening in 2016 when I was exposed to research on near-death experiences and the scientific evidence for psychic phenomena, peer-reviewed papers, declassified CIA documents. And that led me to become obsessed with the topic because I wanted to understand, well, what is a human being? Have I been lied to or deceived about what my identity is? Or even if I'm not being lied to, it's just that we're that ignorant societally. And I realized there was enough evidence to suggest that consciousness is not popping out of our brain, and we seem to be tapping into some kind of bigger consciousness. That led me to my first book.
So it's something that he's gone through some fringe stuff and some psychedelic kind of fringe ideas, and then he's taken it as that being empirically factually true. It's just people like probably just taking snippets of here, picking little things like CIA documents, twisting it, probably only taking like certain sentences out, or maybe like CIA's looked into something and they think it's got evidence, but it's like maybe just some fringe thing they're doing. And they always have to pick up all this shit. But when you look into it, you realize that a lot of times what they were reading, they've only cherry picked a little bit, so they liked out of it and left the rest where maybe it's come and said this was something to do with like, I don't know, I don't know. I know the CIA was looking into stuff to do with remote viewing, stuff like that. And see if maybe, I don't know how far that went. And I've heard claims saying that they had some remote viewers that had some success. But right, if that's the case, then why do they need spies and espionage and go and have like double agents if they could have a remote viewer just simply close their eyes, picture somewhere, and just walk in and get information? Right, so it's kind of, why do you need to have wiretaps and bugs and surveillance if you could just have some guy with their mind just reach out from an office somewhere safe? That seems like so much more efficient and to gather information, but they don't do that. So maybe there is not something behind that.
It's called An End to Upside Down Thinking. And what I did in that book is put together various pieces of evidence suggesting that consciousness does not come from the brain. My argument is if there's one example, even one anomaly, like one black swan that violates the law that all swans are white, then we have to change the law. So I put a lot of examples in that book, and my argument is...
All right, so his thing is the exception needs to be the rule. So if you find this one little thing that maybe kind of fits your narrative, then you have to change everything because we found this one thing this one time when we're looking for a whole bunch of stuff, and we finally found it after we were searching for years, and then we decided that this must be true because it looks like it might be fit our narrative. So really, that's what it is. As you know, all flat earthers go in, they have this idea, and then they go in looking for something to confirm their idea.
I can't disprove all of these, and therefore we have to consider things like the afterlife and a spiritual meaning to existence. That's the first book in Into Upside Down Thinking. And that led me to a podcast series I produced, which is on the same topic, but I interviewed scientists and experiencers. It's called Where is My Mind? And it's still on Apple Podcasts. It's an 8-episode docuseries. And that took me to the end of 2020. I was still a partner at my firm. And I got to the point where I said, I just can't do this anymore. I need to go more fully into trying to understand the nature of reality. And the minute I made that decision.
Translation. The other people in his firm got sick and tired of listening to his shit and told him that either he needs to step down or they're going to make him leave.
To leave my firm. The idea for my second book came in. And it's called An End to Upside Down Living. It's more on the implications for thinking about how to live life. If consciousness does not come from the brain, if we are more than our bodies, then how do we think about prioritizing life? The question I start the book with is, what is the overall intention of your life? Pretty big question. And I try to answer that question using science and philosophy to give people a sense of, well, maybe if it's not all random and meaningless, we might live a little differently.
Well, and it's like by society standards, you're kind of achieving major things.
Exactly. I feel like Mikey Smith would want Mark Sargent Flat Earth hat. Mikey Smith would absolutely freaking love to have that hat, but I don't think he likes Mark Sargent. So
things going to Princeton, you're in investment banking, which we know can make lots of wealth for yourself, and kind of by societal standards, you're successful, you're educated, you're doing all the right things by the system. But
he's educated as in like financial, but when it comes to like sciences or like any kind of testing or anything like that, I wouldn't say really educated. He's read some fringe documents and some fringe books and got some ideas. That doesn't mean he's educated in anything. This means he's susceptible to freaking bogus mumbo jumbo shite that somebody tells him, and it sounds cool, so he's gonna believe it because he wants to.
kind of go against the system and going, well, maybe when we die, that's not it. And then getting into these other things. So if you don't mind, keep walking this down, because really what I want the viewers to understand is who you are in its entirety. And having written those 7 books is going to give us such a good insight into why you're over here into Flat Earth, why you're speaking up against the mainstream narrative, and what's next for you.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I wanted to write the books initially was I thought my mainstream background might be able to allow me to reach new audiences. Because in the world that I come from, I can tell you that most people are not thinking about these questions. They're thinking about the next achievement. That's where I was. They weren't thinking about, well, what is existence? Why am I?
They're thinking about like the paycheck and making sure to make their bills, pay their mortgage, pay the car payments, make sure the insurance, make sure the money is going in for the kids' college fund, make sure the food's on the table, holidays. Maybe Billy needs some new braces. People are thinking about their fucking lives and aren't really going that much into where does consciousness come from. It's just something that you think of when you got nothing else to think of. So, out of boredom, you're sitting there, you let your mind just kind of wander.
Even here in the first place? How should I be prioritizing life? So I'm coming from that orientation of thinking of the person like me who's a complete skeptic and trying to bridge the gap. Mm-hmm. And because of my new worldview,
or if you come, obviously you're sitting there and you've gotten sick of your life and you hate feeling mundane and you're looking for something to feel special because you are got low self-esteem and a low opinion of yourself, right? Which I think that's where some of this comes from, is that you want to feel like you got something special, some sort of knowledge, or you've discovered something nobody else is, and then you go down this rabbit hole, and it feels good because you feel like you're beating the system, you're beating something, and that you have this purpose. So people run with that.
So to me, there's nothing that I could do that's more important, which made my decision to leave my firm.
Hey, sorry, Springer. Quick rundown. Obviously, something that we looked at, Mikey Smith, who decided to take 3 times too much Epsom salts into a drink, and he told you to be careful because you're going to end up shooting yourself for the next freaking for the rest of the day. But he's taken 2 to 3 times too much that was recommended, and risking having some sort of pre-heart attack. Oh, and the fact is, I looked into further with the Charlie Kirk thing, and I don't know if you've seen that, but we can always talk about it later. And there's evidence showing that it wasn't shot from the front, but shot from the back, to the back of the head, and it came out through his neck. But we can always look into that. That's the beginning of the stream. If you want to check that out. Other than that, we're checking out this derp, and this derpling here who thinks that consciousness isn't starting the brain, and also thinks the Earth is flat and everything else. So. Yeah, you did go back a little bit. He's trying to show some sort of drink thing for colon cleanse by literally crapping through the eye of a needle for a day.
Seems somewhat not risky from my perspective, but a lot of people thought, oh, you're crazy because you're in this great position. But I just looked.
I know, I can see you're gutted.
Parents, were they like, what is my boy doing?
Unfortunately, some people close to me have been supportive, but I know a lot of people probably don't get it. But what was interesting is that when I wrote the book, An End to Upside Down Living, I was really happy with the conclusions, and I felt like I synthesized so many of the ancient wisdom traditions and even modern teachers to say, okay, this is a really good synthesis to help people think about living life. And then COVID happened. And I found that so many of the people that were supportive of my views in the first two books were pro-mask. They were calling everyone a conspiracy theorist who didn't agree with the mainstream narrative.
This guy thinks that, basically a laxative, but like a laxative that's going to cause you to get extremely dehydrated because he's, like I said, he's took 2 to 3 times more than is recommended for an adult to take. And this is also somebody who also has uncontrolled diabetes, so he's already got like basic, strain on his kidneys and everything else as well. And as for, he thinks consciousness comes from somewhere else. He thinks that maybe we're like puppets being controlled by, and we're in some sort of etheric realm or something like that. I don't know.
They were in favor of the injections and all that. So I was totally perplexed. How could these people be so right about certain things, or at least I thought they were, and then be completely anti-freedom? And it led me to explore a rabbit hole, which was not.
Now, what was he saying about the masks to freedom thing? I never ever got this during the 2020.
They were calling everyone a conspiracy theorist. When I wrote the book, An End to Upside Down Living, I was really happy with the conclusions, and I felt like I synthesized so many of the ancient wisdom traditions and even modern teachers to say, okay, this is a really good synthesis to help people think about living life. And then COVID happened. And I found that so many of the people that were supportive of my views in the first two books were pro-mask. They were calling everyone a conspiracy theorist who didn't agree with the mainstream narrative. They were in favor of the injections and all that. So I was totally perplexed. How could these people be so right about certain things, or at least I thought they were, and then be completely anti-freedom? And it led me to...
How is it anti-freedom? See, I never got this whole thing. People were, especially in the States, were really kicking off over wearing a mask, okay? Wearing a surgical mask. Now, I had actually got into it back then with some person who was a friend of my wife's, and they claimed that it was going to make them sick, which was really weird because they were literally a nurse. And I couldn't get this going, you wear a mask at your job all the time. Because they claim that wearing this mask all the time is going to make you sick or suffocate. I'm going, surgeons are in surgery and they'll wear a mask for 12, 16 hours straight when doing surgery. They don't die, they don't suffocate, and they don't get sick. In fact, it stops them from getting sick. So we're getting the same masks. So why is it that the surgeon can be fine, but yet you walk around outside or in a shop with a mask on is somehow bad? I don't understand that. And I don't see how it's going to restrict your freedoms. In fact, I found it because everybody's walking around with a mask on and all you seen was just from the eyes up. That give you more freedom because, well, you're literally walking around with a mask on and can't really be identified. And if everybody's wearing something similar, then you're kind of anonymous in the way. Everybody's anonymous, and so you have the anonymity to not be recognized and the freedom to kind of, you could nefariously get away with other things, because how are they going to identify you if you got like a hoodie on or a baseball cap and you got a mask on, and people are wearing stuff like balaclavas, scarves, whatever. Nobody questioned it. You could walk into a shop, would normally tell you to take it off because you need to have it for the CCTV. Now you're walking around and all the security cameras and all they could see is just 2 eyes poking out from under if you're going to hat or like that. It would be a nightmare for the police to try to identify somebody who walked in and robbed a bunch of stuff and walked out. Because, what are you going to do? It was a guy in a mask. What? The whole shop's full of people with masks. Which one? Right? Like, stupid.
To explore a rabbit hole, which was not interesting to me previously, the political realm. I was not a political.
Yeah, I mean, Sergeant Springer worked in a hospital back then. Worked in a cancer ward, so Yeah. I wear something that kind of it was like I bought one on like eBay or Amazon, and it went around and it had a thing where it's probably not the best, but it had two little vents. So I breathed out, they opened up and let me breathe out, and then they closed, so I breathed in, and then I breathed in, and be filtered, but I breathe out, so because my glasses would fog up with normal masks. That way, I could breathe out and all this stuff would come in. Now, obviously, if I'm sick, I'd be breathing out sickness stuff, but I wasn't. I was concerned about that. I wanted to make sure I didn't get sick. So, and I wasn't sick as long as I wore that. So I was fine. Yeah, Canadian speech advocate. I mean, I have my glasses on right now. If I wear a scarf or something like that, obviously, I'd be in Canada, wear a scarf. I'd have to take the glasses off because you walk out, you got a scarf on because it's like freaking -50 out. Man, let's see your glasses. You can't see anything. Take your glasses off, walk around, everything's fuzzy, right? And even back then, yeah, my glasses, I'd have to either have them out a little bit more so that I wouldn't be breathing on them, or I had to find a mask that really tucked up right here and underneath, so that way I push everything would go down instead of breathing out, right? So, like I said, I had the one that had little vents that opened up every time I breathed out, so that all that would go out instead of going up. So, but I had no problem. I'd wear a mask. I don't get why people wear it in their car. Like, if I got in my car, my mask came off. I'm in my car. I'm by myself or with my family I live with. I never got that. Or if I was out for a walk with the dog because there was like nobody around. If I wasn't around anybody, I wasn't wearing one. If I was at the shop, I did. But if I was going shopping around people, I put one on. I'd have one in my pocket. But man, if I was away from everybody, my mask came off. There's no point in having it, right? It was only it would be passed on within a certain distance of you. If nobody's around, then it's that virus isn't hanging up in the atmosphere and coming in. Like, you have to be within a certain distance of people, right? It's essentially the flu, right? Is what it was. So,
political person, I just didn't care unless it affected my business. If there was new legislation or new case law that affected my business, I cared, but I didn't know the difference between Democrats and Republicans. To me, I said, why does that matter? And then all of a sudden, as we know, in 2020, it mattered to everybody very quickly because our lives were dependent on these policies. So
I get you saying, Gil, that well, I mean, there was some that were good, but you could have like thinner ones that weren't any good. Yeah, I think there have certain layers and had to have so much filtration, because you got like if you had like the hospital, like the medical grade ones, I think they've been all right, because isn't the whole point of people wearing them in the hospitals, like the medical staff anyways. And I thought to myself, look, I'm gonna be around if they're no good, then if I have it on and it's no good, I'm breathing. But if I have it off, I have nothing, then it's still going to be the same thing. So I wasn't under the illusion that because I had a mask on, I was protected 100%. But I thought to myself, you know what? It's a level of protection that it may help a little bit. It may catch some, moisture or something in the air. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not under the illusion that I'm never going to get anything. But I did think to myself, it might help something. It's better than absolutely nothing. So, and I didn't see it as, you can make it mandatory all you want. It didn't really matter to me, because I was like, all I gotta do is just throw something on and go out. I wasn't getting any issues off anybody. And the fact is, I was now anonymous and I was walking around and, okay, what? So, like, it wasn't implying, it wasn't infringing on my freedoms. I was still free to do whatever the heck I wanted. In fact, now I could do whatever I wanted and nobody knew who the fuck I was. So, okay. And?
At first, I was drawn to freedom-oriented people, and that was the political right, especially during the COVID era. But then I found that even on the right, there were elements of authoritarianism, of wanting to impose their views on others. And it led me to look at the philosophy known as voluntarism, or some call it anarchism, which is the idea that we should not have rulers. We should have rules but no rulers, or also known as anarcho-capitalism. And that.
Yeah, but if you have rules and no rulers, or if you have rules and no one's going to force them, or nobody who's going to put in charge, I don't say rulers but leaders, then who's going to make the rules, and then who's going to help enforce them and help maintain some sort of order, right? If you have everybody, then I think maybe the rules should be, my next door neighbor might not think the rules should be, and now he's going to have different rules, and I'm going to have rules, and then down the road, somebody else is going to think something else, and now you're going to have pure chaos where everybody's going to have their own ideals, and nobody's going to. So the whole idea is that you put people in power, that you're going to say, we are going to trust that they, and that's the whole point of voting, is that you're going to put them in power, vote the majority of people, whoever's voted, to say, we are going to put them because they've told us what they want to do and their ideas, and we think that they represent the best interests of all of us. So that at least is one person and one thing, so that we can kind of say, okay, we'll put trust in, instead of everybody trying to come to a decision and there's chaos and nobody wants to come to the decision for every little freaking thing. So yes, the only way you're going to have rules is that you have to have somebody who's going to put the rules in place, that you may have votes on stuff, or you have to put trust, and then people who are able to enforce the rules.
Led me to the Austrian School of Economics, is how could society run by privatizing all the functions in government?
Yeah, just like Soros said, rules will break down to mob mentality. Well, that too, yeah. You'll have maybe that group over there thinks it should be done this way, and that group over there thinks it should be done a different way, and then before you know it, they're fighting, right? I think at first they had the illusion to say that the masks protect you 100%, and then eventually they had to come out and say, okay, they don't. It's a level of protection, but it's not a guaranteed and anything. And I think that's where, they first alluded that you wear a mask and that was it, you were protected, and then they had to say, well, no, not really. But it has a percentage of it has so much, and then obviously if you have these certain ones you have more protection. A scarf around your face is not going to have the layers, as opposed to like something where it's a multi-layered medical grade filtration.
The linkage between that book and the prior books,
and people are petty and petulant.
I brought in natural law as revealed by mystical states of consciousness, and showed that what we hear from mystical states of consciousness actually makes our current form of government incompatible with basic spiritual principles. So that was something I hadn't seen in a lot of political and economic books, of actually this anti-freedom mentality we tend to have around the world. Even in America, we consider ourselves to be a pretty free place, but we're still governed by a compulsory political monopoly. That we didn't sit down with the service provider of government and write a contract together that we mutually agreed upon and say, okay, this is the service you're going to provide, and this is how much we're going to pay you, and this is how we terminate the contract. We do that everywhere else except in government.
Oh no, that's called a voting, and then like in U.S. it's called impeachment. And you have your other elected local elected officials that are called members of parliament, or members of Congress, or members of whatever that go and advocate for your local needs and wants and stuff like that. And then if you have gripes, you bring it up to them, and they bring it up, goes up the ladder. And then if enough people, if somebody who's running a country, or your leader is doing a really shit job, i.e. like the UK, then people stand up more, and then they put more pressure on the government, and then there's other things you can do, the protest, the rights for this stuff like that, and you advocate, and then maybe you do other things to have them removed from power. So you can, and the whole point of putting in is they put out their plan of what they want to do, and then you vote if you want to have them in. That's part of the contract. It's fucking, these guys are just overlooking a lot of this shit. Well, yeah, I think in any system, Soros Trainer brings up a whole point. Rockets are fine. All right. I don't know. I don't know, but since they are having problems, I doubt it will be right now. Already talking about the A sorcerer said you're lied to, and people are by people in power and lured into false security, think you have a choice to look at the UK. I think in any system you put anybody in power, you have to give up at least a little bit of something to have all that kind of centralized into one point, instead of having everybody has to have a say in every single thing and people can have their own ideals. You had to give up a level somewhere. I think you have to come to it, or else you end up in like anarchy and chaos and tribes and shit like that.
In government, we have a social contract that no one's ever seen. So we have this implied consent, which allows government to then impose its will on people without our explicit consent. Even the notion of democracy, it's the majority imposing its will on the minority. And so these are the ideas that I get into, which I had been so indoctrinated.
Well, yeah, because it's majority rules. Because if you start catering to the minority, then you start getting really stupid shit, and so you have to a level where you have to say the majority rules. The majority of people want this, so this is the way it's going to be, because kind of how you can't cater, you can't give everybody everything, right? If everybody wants something, they're going to have conflicts. So you have to kind of go, all right, the majority wants this. This is the way we're going to have to go, and the minority is just going to have to go along with it. And then another time, there may be choices that minority will be in the majority of another thing, and they'll get what they want. It all ends up equaling and balancing out in the end.
I used to think of government as an entity that's here to protect us, versus something that's inherently coercive or something that could be dangerous. And that having that compulsory political monopoly is incompatible with natural law. That's the case I make in the book.
So all your AP Gov, I'm assuming you took AP Government back.
What happened with the liberals? Yeah, I know. No system is perfect. Sorry, Stringer, right? I think you and I both know that, mate. No system's perfect, right? And if you do anything, there's going to be failures somewhere. There's going to be compromises somewhere. There's going to have to be something. Yeah, shit is shit, right? I think somebody said to me once, like, all politicians are self-serving assholes who are going to look after themselves and their friends. Vote for the one who's self-serving and looking after their friends ends up inadvertently helping you as well. And that's the fucking usually kind of the way you look at it. I know that a politician up there is going to lie through his teeth somewhere, and they're going to do their shit what they want to do. I just try to pick the ones who I've listened to for long enough, and different things they've said, and then if they seem consistent and I kind of agree with where they're going, and they seem to have ideals, and go, all right, they seem to at least share some of my points of view, or I feel like they have a direction they want to take things that kind of makes sense to me, and I want to go for. And that's, like this last election we had here, I didn't vote for Labour. I didn't like the way they're going. And then definitely when they had Corbyn involved, there's no way. And with Diane Abbott and stuff like that. I was at one point, and then I started listening to things they said, and then they started seeing some really dodgy things that didn't sound too good. And I went, no. And say hi to Alex too. Yeah, hi Alex. How's it going, mate?
Back in high school, just out the window, you're like, you know what? It's not lining up internally with what you're really. What it's so crazy. So okay, are we at book 3 now? Would you say?
That's book 3. It came out in 2021, and then to Upside Down Liberty, and it was the one I was most nervous about, actually, because the political realm can get people really heated up, and I knew that a lot of my audience was left leaning. Not everyone, but I knew I would upset them when I said that ideally we wouldn't have government at all, that we should leave people alone. And that's not going to be a perfect society either. That's not the case I'm making. It's what's worse. And the current status quo, I would argue, we've just become accustomed to the problem, so we're not as worried about them. And so there were a lot of people upset with me with that book, but I thought it was super important.
I can see you already just being like, okay, I'm ruffling all the feathers right now. Like, what am I doing? But you have this drive to keep going. What?
Like I said, we we tried, if we look at history, and I'm talking like way back history, we tried the whole no centralized government, and just like, and then what ended up happening is that you'd have tribes, and then in the tribes, one tribe, there are some people who just are people that are born to lead, and some people who are born to follow. Some people just don't want the lead, they don't want to be up there, they don't want to have the responsibility or the stress. And so what ended up happening is, instead of everybody bickering, going back and forth, is that the tribes end up having a head of the tribe, a tribe leader, or whatever they would call it, but it'd be one leader and maybe some advisors underneath them and stuff like that. Or you'd have like your council of like elders, and be certain ones that dubbed to be the wisest and the ones around, and they would make a decision, but normally be one who'd kind of be the one who'd make the final decision. If nobody could decide, and there was a stalemate, then there's always the one that everybody would turn to and go, "You're the one we trust the most, the tribe, the leader, the head. What do you think? We have these two options, or whatever, or nobody can decide on this." And you have somebody. So you had tribes. So what happened when you have tribes? Well, then your tribe wanted what that tribe has over there, and they wanted what you have, or they wanted to keep it, but you wanted it and you felt you should have it. So then you go and have it. And then you end up having is you have war, you have tribal wars, you have everywhere. And then you have chaos. And so eventually what happens, you got more, our societies developed more. We got a bit more, less tribal. And we decided that we're better off together as a whole. So then you end up forming, or just one tribe, you get bigger and stronger. Before you know it, they're the head. And then before you know it, you have kings and emperors, because that tribe now owns, and they're the biggest, strongest, and the best, and nobody's going to do anything. And they're going, we are the biggest, strongest, and the best, and so we're going to rule, because who the fuck's going to stop us? And that tribal leader, and then that's where you had kings, you had kingdoms, and so this is a fucking progression to now we have countries, and now we're getting stuff like the Economic Union, the United Nations, there's a BRICS, stuff like that. So now you're getting where countries are now starting to come together and make blocks. And before you know it, eventually we're going to end up where it may end up eventually going to a single world thing. And that's where, especially if you have something like, maybe, are aliens real? What if aliens attack? Suddenly our little disputes are going to mean fucking nothing, and we're going to come together as a people. And then after that, we're going to be probably together as a people, and then you're going to end up having leaders come out, and eventually you're going to have one leader. Because that's just kind of how humans are. And Springer said, humanity can never achieve a perfect society. No one ever achieve a perfect society. Never. Nothing will ever be perfect. Why? Because we are imperfect. We have faults. And everybody, we will develop a society which will still have faults. Now, maybe down the road, we develop one that is fairly imperfect, that has most of the stuff ironed out. Probably, maybe down if we could come together as a people, but there'll still be faults somewhere. They'll still never be 100% perfect, because it's going to come down to somebody or some group's going to give up something somewhere. And it's just because you can't please everybody, and so it's never going to be perfect. But the real thing this is, if we had an average quality of being that matches our intellects. Don't hold your breath for anything short of an alien invasion. I don't know how else well, for us to come together as a people, like to come together as a cohesive society, as in like worldwide, in a way where it'd probably be, well, people would be seen as, and not be as oppressed so much. Yeah, I think that's, something like that. I don't know. I can't really think of any other way where come together as a society, as a human race, cohesively, in a way where it wouldn't be one country or group of people just simply taking over the rest. You know, I suppose unless you had some sort of cataclysmic event, like a meteor or something like that, or World War III breaks out, and at the end, then when there's not many people left, then people would come together. You'd have maybe then a cohesive society. They'd have to rebuild from whatever is left, but yeah, it's going to be something big, because people we're assholes. So. We need aliens to unite this. Yeah, in one way or the other. I do think that something like that would bring us together and I think it would bring us together either way. Either a alien interstellar race comes and speaks to us, and then we come realize that we're not alone, and then after there will be probably chaos in some ways, especially religions and stuff like that would be to be a lot of people, religions and stuff would be broken and be in question. But I think in the end, eventually, we would come together as a people and realize that we're not alone, and so our differences don't really mean that much when there's if we realize there's at least one other race, another type of being out there, then now some human being and whatever draconian or whatever, I'm just making stuff up, reptilian or a thing, then suddenly we come together. Either if they come peacefully, then we probably come together as a people, or obviously being attacked, then we would have to band together to defend ourselves, or if we don't, then we'll end up being wiped out, and then in that case, then we our end came. So as you carbonate, I think sci-fi wide, we are closer to Starship Troopers and Halo at the minute wise. Sci-fi wise. Let's hope not something like that. I mean, was it Starship Troopers was literally like asteroids coming, and then ends up being that it was loads of giant huge bugs with a brain bug, and they were actually going across the universe, wiping whole worlds. So come down right now over me. Come together right now over me. The Beatles. I grew up on the Beatles. My mom loved the Beatles. For the Empire, as Sarge Finger says. For the Empire. It was her fault. Oh, you know what, people? I would like to get through this, but it's still got just over an hour to go, and I don't have it in me to do an hour. And I did promise the missus I was not going to do another 4-hour live stream, and I'm already 10 minutes off a 3-hour live stream, and I did say I was going to get off in an hour and 2 hours. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to probably maybe get back this one another time. It started out really slow and boring. I really should have just freaking sped up until I got to this Mark Goober. Come on here. But I might go back to this and see where this goes here. He's shotgunning a lot of shit though, so we'll have to see. Rico's Roughnecks. Oh, of course, yes. Sorry, it just took me a second there to actually get on what you're seeing there. Real sickness. Rico's Roughnecks. Of course, yeah. I haven't seen Starship Troopers in ages. I've seen it when it came out in the theaters, actually. I remember that. Oh, you talk her out of it. We need more sword stringer, carbonate sword stringer. How are you feeling anyways there? I know I heard you're sick. All right. Well, yeah, it was interesting there. Yeah, I knew this was a bit of a this is gonna be a bit of a all over the stream. I wasn't really I didn't actually come in with any one plan. So as you can see, I probably did more of a DP debunks sort of stream where I kind of just jumped around. I had obviously I wanted to address that one thing with the with the information of the Charlie Kirk thing that I had come up with. And then the rest of it was just I had sat here before the stream and went through things, try to see what information I had come up with. So I don't know information. Just a couple of things I just kind of typed in. I was looking for the one for the SPVR. So that one there I might do on Sunday. Look into them a bit. I haven't looked into them, and we'll see what else. Sorry about that. I see what else I come up with. We could watch it tomorrow. Watch this one here with this fella. Maybe I don't know what to see. I know I've beat up Alex twice. Good job. Keep him in line. You need a video call with Mikey. Sorry, Springer. That would be interesting. I don't know if Mikey would actually, if I could even set that up. One, Mikey has blocked my email. He no longer, he admitted to me, well, over a couple months ago, that he has had my email blocked. I've been emailing him. He wanted videos of stars, and then I sent him videos of stars, and then I asked him what he's got him. He went, "No, I have your email blocked." I was never rude to him or mean to him, but I did send him things that falsified his narrative and give him what he wanted, and he didn't like that. And then last time was when only time I could get on with him is probably he ignores my my messages on his live stream. He'll ignore me, and then if I comment on his videos, he either deletes them or just ignores them. Fornicated has a point there, Real Cygnus. Yeah. The Roughnecks were cannon fodder, and the only reason they survived is sometimes just by their own grit and some luck. And the Navy did run everything because they were legit just would fire all the freaking massive weapons and kill them. The Navy being obviously all the ships and stuff. But yeah, I think we're gonna call this one here Starship. And good here. Big cannon fodder for the story, yeah. All right, people. Thanks for coming. So remember, people, the Earth is definitely a globe. Space is real. Watch. I'm gonna put up some videos and some astrophotography coming up here soon. But don't forget to stay curious. I will see you again. Thanks for coming. And don't forget to hit the like if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon. And I will see you all later, my friends. Good night.
NASA lies, yeah, that's what I say. Don't have proof or facts in any way. I claim the moon's made of plasma, a place no one can go. The Apollo program's a scam, I can't back it up though. They talk about the ISS is floating in space. You ask me in a pool, I'd say is the case. Satellones in the sky held up by helium balloons. But bro, that's just a lie, cause that's what all bitches do. NASA lies is something I'll never prove. No facts, no evidence, debates I will lose. They say they've been to the moon, I say it's not the truth. I see truth in a way I hate MC2 when he shows me proof. The firmament is real, a dome up above, but I'll never prove it, so lost that I'm dumb. I know the world is flat, trust your sense of sight. Saying gravity's just a theory is why I'm up at night. NASA is phony like a show or movie, fake like some stage. Truman Show child's play, it's just but suck at this game, because I'm just a dick with only my stupid self to blame. But I'm so fucking sure that the earth is flat, based on how I feel with my pop-up flares. Swear my blind faith is what keeps it real. NASA lies is something I'll never prove. No facts, no evidence, debates I will lose. They say they've been to the moon, I say it's not the truth. I see truth in the way I hate MC2 when he shows me proof. Asking the wrong questions, my beliefs are all faith-based. I can't see the fucking answers right in front of my face. Stanley Kubrick is mentioned every single goddamn time. Somehow he filmed it without nobody dropping a dime. The firmament is a dome, it keeps water in the sky, but when you ask me to prove it, I can't know why. NASA in Hebrew, it means to lie or deceive. My flirt priest told me, and blindly I believe. NASA lies is something I'll never prove. No facts, no evidence, debates I will lose. They say they've been to the moon, I say it's not the truth. I see truth in no way, I hate MC2 when he shows me proof. Spreading misinformation and lies willfully so proud, like Nathan Thompson yelling at strangers so loud. NASA's lies, people, space is fake and Earth isn't round. Oh shit, the fathers and husbands stop me into the ground.
Asking the wrong questions, my beliefs are all faith-based. I can't see the fucking answers right in front of my face. Stanley Kubrick is mentioned every single goddamn time. Somehow he filmed it without nobody dropping a dime.
The firmament is a dome, it keeps water in the sky, but when you ask me to prove it, I can't. Why? NASA in Hebrew, it means to lie or deceive. My flirt priest told me, and blindly I believe. NASA lies is something I'll never prove. No facts, no evidence, debates I will lose. They say they've been to the moon, I say it's not the truth. I see truth in the way I hate MC2 when he shows me proof. Spreading misinformation and lies willfully so proud, like Nathan Thompson yelling at strangers so loud. NASA's lies, people, space is fake and Earth isn't loud. Oh shit, the fathers and husbands stop me into the crowd.